What in the hell do you think you're doing?
Hey, John Boy.
I'm telling you straight, it's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now.
Hey, everybody, we're all going to get laid.
And again, it's picked up. It's Darius Leonard. A pick six for the Maniac. Touchdown, I-N-D-Y. Yes, sir.
Oh, the chicken. Double time.
Miles Turner.
Yeah.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Tannehill on play action, fires into the end zone, wide open. That's a touchdown, and that is Robert Woods, the veteran wide receiver out of USC. It's 6-0. Ryan under center, fakes a counter, steps up in the pocket, wide open to the 10. Mo Alley-Cox at the 5. It's a touchdown for Mo Alley-Cox. First touchdown on the board today for the Colts, and they close the gap to 24-9. Ryan backs the pass, throws left side into the end zone, walking in, touchdown! His second touchdown today. It's all tied into the red zone for the Colts. It's 24-16. Play clock at 2. Takes the snap, gives off to Jonathan Taylor. Jump cuts his way across the line of scrimmage and is close to a first down. And now there's some pointing. Oh, did Jonathan Taylor lose it? Tennessee is downstairs celebrating like they've recovered a fumble.
Yeah, they're signaling that official down there in the pile.
Rolling on the field as the ball is fumbled, recovered by the defense.
Final score on the Ruoff Mortgage scoreboard. It's Tennessee 24 and the Colts 17.
There you go, Matt Taylor, Rick Venturi with the call on the Colts Radio Network. And yeah, the Jonathan Taylor thing basically ended it yesterday in what was just another horrendous start. First things first, though. Buffalo Wild Wings today. Buffalo Wild Wings brings us to you. This is a Colts Blue Monday is what we're doing. I got a pair of tickets to give away coming up later on. We're at the Buffalo Wild Wings location. This is a fantastic location, by the way, in Plainfield off of Main Street. I guess you can see it. Main Street's out there, which I believe is US 40. But the Buffalo Wild Wings is famous out here for being fantastic. So join us, too. Great food, ice-cold Bud Light right next to me. You could win some tickets, and we'll have a lot to talk about, too. You got Monday Night Football coming up a little bit later on tonight, and remember, this Colts team has a short week, and you get Denver coming up on Thursday night. But Buffalo Wild Wings, our location in Plainfield today on a Bud Light Blue Monday with tickets to give away courtesy of Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm promising you a good time, even with the results we have seen and the results we saw again yesterday. I'm going to promise you a good time right here. Absolutely. I don't know if you can see it, or it was here a little bit earlier. We have a Colts helmet to give away, a lot of signatures on it, all that stuff and more. I'll share it with you over the course of the afternoon. But I didn't want to get started this way. And I agree. You look at this team right now, and it's an absolute mess. It is an absolute mess. And you look in it in terms of the moment, and it's a mess, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. For those moments when it's actually good, it's normally followed by 2 or 3 moments that are ridiculously awful. Here's what could and should concern you even more. And there's a lot of layers to this, to the awfulness in which we have seen, to the most part, all the bad quarters of football that we have seen. But when you think about it, I tweeted about this yesterday and talked about it this morning with Tony Katz on WIBC. Talked about it last night on Fox 59 with Chris Hagan on 59 Overtime. This is just not a situation right now that is just going to affect the moment. This is going to have a profound effect on this team's future, and here's why. Because to this time, and again, everybody's going to want to go ahead and say, well, you know, they're still in it, and it's the AFC South. Let's put all that crap to the side for a moment, okay? Because what we do here, every single time we have this stupid-ass conversation, after a Colts loss, it's, well, at least they're still in the AFC South. What we do is lower the bar even more. Let's face it, it's not supposed to look like this. And it's sure as hell not supposed to consistently look like this. That's problematic. We live in the moment. That's problematic for the moment, without question, especially in a short week. A dinged-up running back who can't find any space anyway, but a dinged-up running back nonetheless. Hopefully plays coming up on Thursday. You get your linebacker who came back for the first time in 2022 yesterday, and he gets dinged courtesy of friendly fire. I think Tyquan Lewis also got friendly fired upon yesterday, too. All that coming up in a minute. But we live in a moment, and believe me, in Sports Talk Radio, that's what we do. We live in the moment. We're going to discuss everything that went on yesterday. And we're going to be hardcore, and people are going to be mad. And then you're going to get maybe 5%, but a 5% now that's learning that maybe this team is what we've talked about it being. But the most crucial part of all this is, to me, to this point, to where you are in what, years 6 and 5 with general manager and head coach, this philosophy isn't working. This philosophy isn't working. I don't care what you talk about regarding still having a chance, or when you reference back, well, this is what this team always does. God, that drives me nuts when you say that. Because I got news for you. What this team has done in the recent past hasn't been that great either. Everybody leans on last year. Well, look how they started last year. Last year sucked. Last year was horrible. Last year the start was horrible, and the finish was even worse. All right, there's nothing to lean on and positive with that. Nothing at all. All right, so Phillip Rivers takes them to the postseason 2 years ago. He got bounced in game number 1 after they added an extra playoff position. And the Colts took advantage of that. You see what I'm saying? Every time you make an excuse about what's going on, you lower the bar even less. And I'm telling you, I've been around here when it's been rock bottom. Now, it's a different feeling here because you guys actually are invested and you care right now. Yeah, back then nobody cared. Basically up until that 95 Comet that burst through the stratosphere, if you remember, at the end of the season, and they go to the AFC title game. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. Yeah, hey, it's a football team here. Let's go down there. Hey, let's head down to the RCA Dome or the Hoosier Dome. Hey, get down there, 25 minutes. Back then they kicked at noon. Yeah, we'll leave about 11:35 or so, get there at game time. Watch 4 or 5 dudes in their toupees get blown off and they're walking in the dome. That's pretty funny, right? Old guys in penny loafers and slacks, and ladies bringing their knitting, or everybody coming from church. There's no celebration. Nobody really knew what was going on then. It was just a novel idea that this market had an NFL team. It's much different now, and it's not spoiled. That is such BS with the spoiled crap. Like, with due respect to Cam, who's sitting here, of the younger generation, or maybe a little bit older, but still the younger generation, and Kyle Unimark back at the station, or anybody else that's 40 or less, you have no idea. You have no idea how bad it was, but everybody kind of joked about it. Everybody wrote funny songs about it. Bob and Tom laughed about it. It was a sucky time, but believe me, we didn't know any better. Now you do. Now you knew. The bar is set where it's supposed to be at this level. That's where the Manning era set it. And that's what Jim Irsay has told us about it needing to be. And they're not coming close. All we're doing is lowering it right now. So I want everybody to stop if we can, because I know that it's the AFC South. I know what division they play in. I know that nobody else is really that great, so probably all season long they're going to have a chance within the division. But again, all you do is lower expectations. Until when? When does it stop? 2 things that should frighten you within the AFC South is this, right? Is even with that loss yesterday, you do see signs, especially 24-0 is a pretty good sign. You see signs of Jacksonville being built in this era of winnable, higher-level football. The thing that Tennessee brings to the table, I guess it doesn't matter who the hell plays for them, right? You can be missing a tackle. You can be missing a defensive lineman. You can trade away your best wide receiver. You can do all that crap, and still you're going to be mentally and physically much tougher than what this team is. Can you imagine on any level? I don't see enough to Tennessee to know, and frankly, I don't care. But can you see if you had an embattled coach in Mike Vrabel in Nashville? Can you imagine that Titans team? And going through all that they've gone through, or having ownership come out and all offseason long, if you're not talking about Carson Wentz and how he was the issue with the team, talking about how this team has to beat Tennessee, should beat Tennessee. Just late last week, sending out videos, being primal. Yeah, there was one team out there primal yesterday, and it wasn't the Colts. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that football team playing like that for a half of a game with everything that had been talked about from ownership? And listen, I'm sorry. I know that Jim Irsay has zero history of doing anything other than, scapegoating obviously will continue. Chris Strasser is incredibly lucky this is a short week, and probably, if this continues with the offensive line, is not going to make it to the Jacksonville game. But that aside for a moment, right? The head coach. Can you imagine Tennessee coming out and knowing what's on the line, not only with what the owner or ownership has said, not only with, being clowned upon a year ago, knowing that the opposition has had your number for the past couple of seasons, coming out and looking that listless, that emotionless, that discombobulated. It's week number 4. How in this world do you look like that at the start of a game? It's great that they came back, right? It's great that they made a game of it. I don't know how that figures into anything. Again, that's what they do. That's what people will tell me. That's what they do. But what was the end result? They lost. Well, a year ago, that's just kind of what they do. What was that end result? They lost. Didn't go to the postseason. That's just what they do. Had to add a post. Last time they were in the postseason, they had to add a postseason team to get there. This is where this thing is. And this is my point on it all. This is not working. This Chris Ballard approach, the blueprint, right? The construction, the foundational building blocks of his vision, not working. And you can talk all you want about merry-go-round and quarterbacks every year, but it's a philosophy that doesn't work. Think about where the breakdown has been this year. And this is the most significant breakdown. I mean, the light bulb, or the socket, if you will, to get light starts on this team with the offensive line. There has been a lot of handle with care. We got to make sure you do this. We got to get guys in the right spot. We're going to build from the inside out, while the rest of the NFL thinks about it differently. So the rest of the NFL wrong? Probably not. The rest of the NFL is probably right. It's not working. That should concern you as a Colts fan more than anything else, because that has implications even further. We're just talking about in this moment. We're talking about the first week of October right here, and a short week going to Denver. You're talking about the AFC South. Yeah, you're still in it. You're talking about, well, all it's going to take is this and a little bit of a run there and a little bit of a run there. To what? To do what? Now, then you think about the longer term. You think about the issues on this offensive line. You guys watched yesterday, right? The left guard had himself a bad day, along with everybody else. Well, you know what? They did step up down the stretch. Who gives a damn if they stepped up down the stretch? They still lost. Let's talk about what they didn't do in those winning and losing moments early in the game when you get down 3 scores. How about not getting down 3 scores? How about being read the riot act from your owner? How about knowing what's on the line for your head coach and you come out like that? Is there a leader in that locker room, or is this all a bunch of BS? We've heard about it from Matt Ryan. I don't know. I don't see it. The only thing I can gather is what I see on the field. And if the coach is one to provide some inspiration. You tell me, with every single slow start, and mind you, don't even go to last week, because that slow start was kick-started by Sky Moore and the special teams of Kansas City. They're still spinning their wheels probably without that. That's where this team is right now. So you should be concerned not just in the now, but for the future, because this thing looks failed. Again, if it's communication, if it's whatever, somebody needs to fix it. But it's not getting fixed. You see the same old, every single game. Same old mistakes. But that should concern you, because that has a profound effect on the future of this team, is how it's built. And it's not working. And listen, if you want to talk about how the defense, what the defense did in the second half, okay, fine, great, second half. What did they do in the first half? And I know that they get stuck because of this offense with mistakes and short fields and a quarterback that has fumbled, oh my God, 10 times. Are you kidding me? 10 stinking times this year. I know he missed, 10 passes yesterday, went for 352, 362, couple of scores or whatever. But let's face it, we've watched it. It's not it. It's just simply not it. All we do every single time is lower the bar to make yourself as a Colts fan, make everybody else as Colts fans around you feel better. Hey, listen, I want you to feel good, but not at the expense of what we're supposed to be seeing compared to what we actually see. This is what's been real. Yeah, this start for this team is real. I mean, I guess it's fortunate last week they actually took advantage of those opportunities. But the foundational building blocks are simply not working right now. And that was at the forefront of all that went down at the beginning of that game in the first half. I was in the press box actually in shock. And I shouldn't be in shock because we've seen this, right? But I was in shock about how this team came out. How can you not have a little bit more fire than that? A little bit more want to than that? Nothing. Nothing. You got steamrolled. You gave up the ball. You made bad decisions. Now, this thing is flawed. This thing goes deeper. And I know that Jim Irsay has never made a change in head coach during the season. I know a lot of people are asking me, do you think that Frank Reich has lost the locker room? I'm not in the locker room. I don't know. But I'll gauge this. You watch him start. Do you think these guys pay a little bit of attention about what's going on around them? I know that they all say they don't listen, they don't watch, they don't read or whatever, but somebody knows a little bit of something, right? Why the continued slow starts? That absolutely sunk them yesterday. And it was everything. I'm glad the tight ends had a great game. I'm just sick of sitting here, even after wins, and trying to pick apart why they were good. I mean, why can't you put something together longer than just a series or two, if that? When you think about it, too, I mean, the quarters of football they have played this year, how many good ones have there been? How many decent quarters have there been? How many watchable quarters have there been? This thing's not working. It is not working. And that should concern you much more than just where we are in this particular moment. We'll go over all that coming up on the course of the afternoon. I mean, that's what we do, right? We respond, we react to the moment, what went down yesterday. But that start was ridiculous. The start's always going to go back on the coach, but players, any inspiration at all, any understanding at all? And what was the difference between starting the game and then coming out of the second half? Was it more that Tennessee's just not that good? I mean, we kind of look at Kansas City now as that first win of the season. You watched them last night. They didn't look anything. And I gave credit where credit is due. I thought the defense played well last week. You know, one of the things we talked about in the pregame show yesterday was with Ryan Tannehill. Don't let Ryan Tannehill escape and run with his legs for first downs. How many times did he do that yesterday? You know, once again, you get one game that Ngakoue showed up, and then you get another game where Ngakoue was invisible. DeForest Buckner, what'd he do? A handful of third downs, I think maybe 15 snaps in all, not that many with whatever the elbow situation he might have. He had the return of Shaquille Leonard that provided zero spark. None whatsoever. And then he got friendly fired upon. It was all over. Who knows how long that's going to be? Yeah, I don't know what. If you're looking for something positive right now, and I know everybody's been on me, it's always negative. I don't know how else to look at it. That's what it is. I just shared with you, I think, the longer-term vision right now, which, again, will have more of an effect and should probably frighten you as a Colts fan more than what's happening right now. And the other aspect of it is I sit here and I'm sick and tired of hearing about how they're still in it. And I'm sick and tired of hearing about how everybody's spoiled from the Manning era. That's BS. Maybe if you're 35 years or in that neighborhood or younger, but if you're around here longer than that, you got through some awful times of football. It's not a good feeling. You got one of the worst teams working right now in the NFL right in front of you, too. This offensive line, I'm telling you, you put all that stock, all that time, all that effort into building this, and those are the results that you get with that? Are you kidding me? Those are the results. Well, you know what? They did do better. They did better on that final drive last week. Put a game together. You know, put something together where you're not completely discombobulated the first time that a defense up front throws a twist at you or starts stunting on you a little bit. Be honest with you, I was impressed. Tennessee was taking advantage of stuff. Everybody had told us that Derrick Henry was over and he's dinged and he's further. Derrick Henry looked strong. Derrick Henry looked like that he read, listened, watched something that inspired him a little bit. That was some inspirational running, especially in the first half yesterday. He wasn't having any of that. Meantime, this vaunted offensive line, which is paid the highest in the NFL and is probably bottom 3 in the NFL right now as far as production is concerned, they cannot give a crack of an opening to Jonathan Taylor. Not a crack. And obviously he fumbled yesterday. That was certainly a huge moment, if not the biggest moment that curtailed any sort of comeback attempt. There is not enough to talk about that is positive. I cannot spend basically the rest of through 2 hours and 45 minutes on the tight ends or Alec Pierce making some tough catches. I will say this too. Matt Ryan put up, 352, 362? I'll give it to the pass catchers because they had to work for it yesterday because he was all over the place. Ashton Doolin, I think, made a really nice catch. Ball was thrown behind him. Those guys made some nice catches for him yesterday. They did. It looks to me like Matt Ryan is on a team where he thought that all of this was going to be ready-made and he was going to be able to drop back and throw it. Seems like this is a lot more than what he bargained for, and certainly overwhelming considering where he is in the stage of his quarterbacking career in the NFL. That's the way that it looks. But if you can't get inspiration out of going into that Tennessee game last week, where does it come from? Where are you going to find it? Who's going to provide it? I saw Nyheim Hines had a quote. Nyheim Hines of the 2 targets, I think, yesterday. Nyheim Hines had the quote regarding, this is not an excuse. I'm going to paraphrase here if that's okay. This is not an excuse, but we have had, your garden variety of quarterbacks each and every year. We're on a treadmill of quarterbacks, something like that. Which, to me, I read that and I'm thinking, man, this is like, Kyle and I were talking about this. That sounds like a shot at the general manager, but if you're going to shoot at the general manager, you're also shooting at the owner because that's what the owner wanted. That was a mandate. There was no keeping the guy last year, and there was a selling of the guy last year. And then the year prior, there was a guy that they had hoped to have for 2 years that only was going to stay for 1. I mean, this whole plan of trying to put a Band-Aid over it and move on and win only works if you win. Because right now you're kind of caught between you got a young group of players, but you also you're really built backwards. You're built backwards. Scariest part about all this is the foundational building blocks of this squad to this point are failing. Especially that offensive line. And if they fail, this team fails. If they fail, this team fails, and you have longer than just a game in October or a month of October or the AFC South, dumbing that down so everybody can feel good about themselves. I'm sorry, this is not how it's supposed to be, and it's sure as hell not how it's supposed to look. That's on them. That's on Jim. That's on Chris. That's on Frank. Now you get a short week, try to come back and beat a Denver team that's not very good. But honestly, the Colts aren't either. Trying to remember, was it Arizona? I can't remember the length of the Arizona game with consistency. When's the last time that we saw a game performance in the category of consistency? Plays here or there, all right, but consistency, it's been a while. When's the last time you felt you watched this team play consistently good football? Is there time? You got something, Cam?
Could you say Buffalo last
good
year?
Football. Buffalo, the blueprint of running the football, probably so. What week was that? I can't remember. That was it. I was thinking New England, but I could not remember the consistency. You're right, with Buffalo on the road under those circumstances and doing really what Chris Ballard had built this team to do. And those moments have been few and far between. That's probably it. What week was that, Kyle, a year ago? Seems like a while.
That was, let's see here, last November.
So that would be, I think that level of play is more an exception to what we have been watching most recently. But not even recently, but even further back. That is more the exception to the rule than what we're seeing. What we're seeing is the rule. I just can't believe this team coming out and playing like that, knowing what's on the line, knowing how outspoken the owner has been. I mean, that's almost like, yeah, you know what, whatever. We're just going to do this. We're going to come out uninspired, listless, emotionless, turn the ball over, give this team some short fields, go down 3 scores. That's what we're going to do. Unacceptable and inexcusable. We'll talk about that over the course of the afternoon. Hey, I will say this. It's going to be unacceptable and inexcusable if you are not here. I have ice cold Bud Light before me. We are at Buffalo Wild Wings. This is one of the best Buffalo Wild Wings locations anywhere. We're in Plainfield. I'm looking for you in Plainfield today. I've got tickets to give away, but we can talk a lot of Colts. We have great food. See, I know. I'm getting videotaped right now. I'm sorry. If you guys watch it on YouTube Live, you can see it. Great food, Monday Night Football, and more right here at the Buffalo Wild Wings location. Buffalo Wild Wings brings us what is a Bud Light Blue Monday, but I got to get a lot of reaction from you, and we will at 239-1070. Email address is jmv@radio-1.com. A lot of you are asking about the app. I think the app, much like this Colts team, is a bit foobar right now. So here's what I want you to do. You do have options. One of the options would be go to YouTube Live and join the lounge via YouTube Live. I think the stream from the website is working right now, too. So I tell you what, until I am told that the app is no longer foobar, let's find alternative means. Right? Let's find something different to do to make sure that you get to me and my voice gets to you and you have your essential time to react to it. So inside the lounge via YouTube Live, if you want to go to the stream as well, that is also working. I know, again, a lot of questions regarding that. And if you want to jump on 93.5, 107.5 FM-wise as well, you can do that. Jay Query is going to join us coming up at the top of the 4 o'clock hour, 5 o'clock hour. Bob Kravitz had a column in The Athletic about the time is, I'm going to put words on paper and print out for him. I don't know if he said the time is ticking away on the head coach. Exact words, but it is. There's no doubt. I'm not suggesting anything's going to happen during the season, but the clock is definitely ticking on him. It depends on the level of embarrassment, I would guess. I would still be shocked if a change was made, but Chris Strasser is probably lucky this is a short week. That will definitely get him another game. I don't know, the offensive line coach, I don't know how much longer he's going to last after this. What an uninspiring first half that led to that loss. It is all right there. And everybody can be happy about how they played in the second half and hung in and made a game of it. Forget about it. It's that first half you got to count on. That first half that you have to concentrate on. Inexcusable. All right, more to come on the other side. 239-1070. Kyle, get me some phone calls. We got a lot more for you. Buffalo Wild Wings in Plainfield with Bud Light on a Blue Monday, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Put on your helmet. It's about to get real.
Matt Taylor, we were just talking about Jimmy Irsay's tweet. He doesn't do that a whole lot.
No, I mean, he knows what time it is. He knows the first part of the season is so lopsided with AFC South games. There's just not a whole lot of opportunity to catch up and make up ground within the division. Later in the season, these are really, really important games.
Dan Dockage, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
At Eskenazi Health, our patients are treated with compassion and skill. That's why Eskenazi Health is looking for professionals who share our mission and are dedicated to serving the community. As an employee of Indiana's top hospital for social responsibility and community health investment, you'll enjoy excellent benefits, competitive pay, and unwavering leadership support. Learn more about Eskenazi Health careers online at eskenazihealth.edu/careers.
O'Reilly Auto Parts specializes in keeping your car on the road. Not sure how much life is left in your battery? Our professional parts people will test it for free. If it does need to be replaced, we'll help you find just the right one to fit your car. Our Superstart batteries are built to handle even the toughest conditions. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Tim Tebow is the keynote speaker for Life Center's Celebration of Life Banquet, right here in Indy. Register at lifecenters.com for the banquet on Wednesday, October 26th at the JW Marriott downtown. This event is the largest fundraiser for Life Centers, a ministry that helps women making pregnancy-related decisions and provides baby and maternity items to local families. Don't miss Tim Tebow at the JW Marriott downtown on October 26th. Register at lifecenters.com. lifecenters.com.
Football fans can turn a loss into a win with the king of sportsbooks. Just place a single first touchdown score prop bet on any pro football game. If your bet loses, you'll receive up to $25 back in free bets. This offer is available all season long. Wager confidently and take your game to the next level with BetMGM. Just log into your account or download the BetMGM app and sign up today. Then, wager on any player to score the first touchdown in any pro football game, and if your bet misses, you'll get up to $25 back in free bets. Turn game time into showtime with the king of sportsbooks. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Indiana only. New and existing customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, sports fans, this is Ultimate Vegas Insider John Anthony, and I'm on fire. To prove it, I'm releasing my Monday Night Report exclusively on a recorded message line. Monday nights, 25-9, last 2 years. That's 74% winners. I'm red hot. Call 1-800-808-3481. LA, San Francisco's a lock. And the total to parlay, plus Thursday and Saturday's early release, John Anthony has you covered. We go 5-0 the season free. 1-800-808-3481. Information wins. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. I'll prove it. LA, San Francisco's a lock. Win the side. Win the total. Parlay and teasers cash in. A $200 player wins $3,000 this week. Recorded message 1-800-808-3481. LA, San Francisco. We go 5-0 the season free. 1-800-808-3481. That's 1-800-808-3481. Or go to JohnAnthonySports.com.
America's leading internet provider just got even faster. Switch to Spectrum Internet, and you now get starting speeds of up to 300 megabits per second. Faster speeds for streaming, faster speeds for gaming, faster speeds for working or learning, all with 99.9% network reliability. So no matter what you do online, you can do it better, safer, and now even faster with Spectrum Internet. Visit Spectrum.com for details. Based on internet subscribers among top ISPs, speeds may vary. Restrictions apply.
Ball State football is back in Muncie Saturday, October 15th against UConn. Secure tickets at ballstatesports.com or charge by phone 888-BSU-TICKET. Chirp, chirp.
The Ride with JMV.
Don't read your email, because I'm really butthurt when you read your email.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Second and 10. Hines is in the game as the running back. In motion is Paris Campbell to the near sideline. Ryan slips, stays on his feet, going for the home run shot downfield for Alec Pierce. He's got it inside the 30 to the 25, and he's tackled forward to the 22-yard line.
Matt Taylor on the call right there. That was a nice catch. Alec Pierce had a couple. The rookie, good for him. The tight ends played well. Good for them. But again, let's stop lowering the bar on the, hey, they're still in it bullcrap. Let's stop doing that. And especially in comparison to how we talked about last year. Last year sucked. Well, you saw them come back last year. Yeah, listen, okay, great. October. Hey, great, some November. It started terrible and it ended terrible. Don't use that as an example. And even with the Rivers year, had to add an extra playoff spot to get in there. This is not how it's supposed to be. A lot of you are asking me right now. I'm going to get to the calls in just a second, by the way. Buffalo Wild Wings in Plainfield. The Bud Light robot is hanging around here. I think the Bud Light robot is in a much better mood than what I am right now as far as this. I'm just, that first half, I could not even watch the second half without being critical of the first. I know that sounds weird, right? I know you're supposed to feel better when your team, the team you're covering in this case, plays better in the second half, but I didn't. Just knowing what had been said, knowing what was on the line, and that group coming out there and getting down 3 scores in truly embarrassing fashion in the first half is unacceptable. I don't care if they did come back. Again, this is not how it's supposed to be. It's unacceptable. And I know we'll get to the coach in just a second, too, because I got a lot of tweets. Players, how do you come out that listless and uninspired? Anybody? This leadership we hear all about all the time, where is it? The tough-talking quarterback, where is it? I got news for you, too. The tough-talking quarterback can do all of that dialogue, but guys around him are going to go, hey, dude, can you stop fumbling the stinking football here? Seriously. All right, it's okay. Go ahead and give us your quarterback inspiration. Fantastic. But can you hold on to the football a little bit? 10 times? I'll be honest with you. This Colts team, the one thing that they've looked like that they've worked a lot on is scramble mode when the quarterback fumbles the football. They actually have been good at that, trying to get it back, I guess. If you're looking for something positive, there it is. All right, where was I going here regarding the Frank Reich question? I think somebody had asked me this. I'll get to the calls in just a second, and I'd probably lost it. JMV, do you think Frank Reich has lost the locker room? I said this a little bit earlier. I'm not in the locker room. I don't know if he's lost the locker room or not. But I will tell you this. If I'm the owner and I make these impassioned speeches, I make these declarations, I tell everybody how it should be and what they should expect, that's the first thing that needs to stop. He needs to stop telling everybody what he expects if that is what you're going to get as a result. But you watch that first half? A lot of inspiration going on there. How would you take that? If there was an easy path to go, somebody like me that wasn't in the locker room, I don't know how these guys feel about their head coach right now. But if you were just going to make a judgment, knowing where this team is, knowing how big that game was yesterday, knowing how this team has done you in the past, and knowing how your owner feels about it, if you're Jim Irsay, how do you take yesterday's start of the game? How do you take that first half? It sure as hell looks like that the head coach has lost the locker room. I even saw Matt Overton, the former long snapper here, mention, hey, this is just kind of how the Colts start. Why? Where's the common thread here? Where's the common theme? Or better said, who's the common theme? The head coach? Why do they get off to bad starts? You've tried all this change. You tried a training camp change. So where's the issue? Who's the issue? Who would you have to blame that on? I know that it's easy, but that's exactly how it looks. It looks like it is all on him. Why can't you get these guys to stop it? A banged-up Tennessee team. A bad Houston team. It's all the same. The only real good feeling you have against Kansas City is because Kansas City made the deadly mistake. Zoom just ended. Fire that back up again. That's the part that drives me nuts. So, yeah, if I'm watching and if I'm making a judgment call on this, the only judgment I can possibly go to is, that's absolutely the way that it looks. And if I'm Jim Irsay, that certainly is how it looks to me. I'd stop making videos. I would stop making declarations. Well, this is how it's going to be, and this is what we have to see. I'd stop doing all of it because clearly others within this organization don't have your back on it. And then all that happens, you end up getting clowned, and you have to stay off of Twitter for about 12 hours. That was so uninspiring and maddening. And I know what a lot of you are saying. Oh, you should be used to that by now. That was at a different level to me, BS yesterday than anything else. It just was. Frankly, I'm sick of watching it. I'm sick of watching it. I'm sick of seeing it. I can't imagine how some of those guys have to feel about it within that organization. When is enough going to be enough? Seriously. When you guys stop going? When you guys stop paying attention? When apathy sets in? I'm going to tell you what, when apathy sets in, it's hard to reel that back in. I know all you have to do is win. All right, well, if you win a little bit and look good a little bit now, you wouldn't have to worry about having to reel it back in the first place. The whole thing just pisses me off. Braden's at 239-1070. Hello, Braden. Jump on the show. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. Go ahead.
So question for you. What's going on with the kicker situation? Why can't we kick anything over 50? Why is that a discussion with the coach?
Because they have kickers that aren't very good. They have kickers that aren't very good.
Exactly.
They do. I know they had Michael Badgley. What did he go 3 for 3 yesterday? Because that was not, they said it was a priority in training camp. They had a guy, they had this competition, and I don't believe that to be much of a competition, and this is what you're left with right now. Again, let's cross our fingers and hope it's going to work out. And, then, week number 1, Blankenship, he was one of those scapegoats, like Danny Pinter was yesterday. Danny, here's what we're going to do. We're going to change the right guard. As if that's going to have any profound effect on how this offensive line has been playing. All right, fine, make the change, but that is scapegoating somebody. Danny Pinter got scapegoated yesterday. Blankenship was scapegoated back in week 1, and clearly to this point with this team, the scapegoat of the summer, the spring, and the winter was Carson Wentz. So you got 3 scapegoats, and up next is going to be the offensive line coach. Brayden, anything else?
Nope, that's it. Just wanted to ask that question.
Yep, that's it. This is not very good. Not very good. Can't count on it. Anything of length, forget about it. You're inside. I know the roof, and I know the window's open. You're inside. Chuck's up next at 239-1070. Hello, Chuck. How are you? Corey, I'm sorry. Chuck, this is Corey. Hello, Corey.
Hey, John. How are you?
I'm fantastic, Corey. How about you?
I'm good. So for the first time in my 40 years of existence on this earth, I left a Colts game early yesterday. I kept trying to tell my dad, who was blatantly, ridiculously optimistic about the game, like, they're going to mess this up. Just wait. They'll mess it up. And I just have a hard time dealing with the fact that we've invested so much money into an offensive line that, like, I used to play for Hamilton Southeastern, and you know that. And I'm pretty sure if we would have lined up the guys from HSE against Tennessee, they would have fared better than the Colts did yesterday. Having said that, I know that you are a big movie aficionado, and
sure
you listen, you watch a lot of old movies. But remember in Apollo 13 when Ed Harris looked at all of his staff at NASA and said, "What do we have on this ship that's good?"
Oh yeah.
I'm curious at this point. What do we have on this ship that is good? The Odyssey is dying, John. It's dying.
Yeah. The Odyssey is the philosophy of Chris Ballard. Yes, that's the way that it looks.
The problem is our money that we've got invested in these guys it's long term. Like we are in trouble.
Corey, thank you for the call. I would agree with you on that. And before you go, well, wait a minute. I don't want to hear the second half. I don't want to hear about last week. I want to see some consistency. I don't want to see a first half of absolute emotionless, listless play from a team that, if it didn't know better, then you got to find other team members that do. You do. If you don't know better, if you don't know the implications of that game, then find others that will know, that do know. Seriously. We'll get back to the offensive line coming up in a minute. Jay Query, top of the hour, is going to join us. Bob Kravitz of The Athletic in the 5 o'clock hour. We are with our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings in Plainfield. I would love to see you out here. I guarantee you that my mood is still cool here. I'm at least drinking ice cold Bud Light, which is good. The first half yesterday, I could have gone on. I almost did something on Facebook, and I thought, I'm just going to save it for the show. The first half, I don't know if you watched me on 59 last night. The first half so pissed me off yesterday. It just did. And I shouldn't get mad about it, but I really kind of got mad about it. I just did. Because now we're down this path of, to me, what is going to be a great unknown. Something Corey alluded to a moment ago. We'll get back to that. Again, Jake Query, top of the hour. Bob Kravitz, 5 o'clock hour. Buffalo Wild Wings in Plainfield, Bud Light Blue Monday. I've got Jaguars Colts tickets to give away. I've got an autographed helmet to give away too. All a part of Blue Monday. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Ready to simplify your purchases while earning unlimited cash back? Well, Forum Credit Union's unlimited cash back credit card is for you. No more redeeming points or cap rewards. Forum's card pays you unlimited cash for every purchase every month automatically. Plus, make secure mobile payments, contactless purchases, and get real-time spending alerts so you can stay on top of your expenses. It's the perfect card for everyday items and monthly subscriptions. Visit forumcu.com to apply for your card today or stop by any Forum location. Again, for info, forumcu.com today.
When winter's at its worst, snowplow professionals need the best. That's why your local Boss dealer has the ultimate lineup of snow and ice solutions you need. Front to back, Boss leads with advanced truck plows and spreaders, compact equipment, heavy equipment, and time-saving tools to clear any surface area. Keep them open with a Boss snowplow, built to back you up.
Get them before they're sold out at Midstate Truck Equipment, Allisonville Road at 106th Street, 849-4903 or mid-statetruck.com.
Bowling, 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 keep them balls a-rolling. Bowling, bowling, bowling.
Royal Pin. Make your plans now for a fun holiday party at any Royal Pin Entertainment Center. Treat your employees to a great time with bowling, appetizers from chips to heavy hors d'oeuvres, food packages from pizza to prime rib, and a wide range of party options from just bowling to laser tag, limitless VR, go-karts, arcade, and more. You can upgrade with adult beverages, craft beer, premium spirits, and frozen drinks. Want a custom party? Their sales team can make it happen. Reward your team for their hard work. Email events@royalpin.com or visit royalpin.com to book today.
Set 'em up, knock 'em down, send them flying, spinning round.
Hurry, space is filling up fast. That's royalpin.com.
Royal Pin Bowling, bowling.
Royal Pin Bowling. For PAI, WeGrowHairIndy.com. Your real growing hair, again, is just a phone call away. Tell Darren Andrews that I sent you. 888-724-5129. If you want your real growing hair, it works with PAI. WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
Take the next step in your construction career by becoming a union carpenter.
Some of the best pay in the industry.
Amazing health and retirement benefits.
Ongoing cutting-edge training.
Creating my own career path so I can do what I love.
High safety standards.
Great employment opportunities. Why will you join the Carpenters Union? Join the 75,000 men and women in Indiana who build our communities. For more information, visit the Construction Industry Partnership at indianacip.com.
Hey, John, for Connecticut, we got Connecticut days that are coming up. My friends Joe and John got you covered on that, too. Hey, the best in water. If you don't have Connecticut, it's out there for you right now. The Premier Series water softener, the K5 in-home drinking water station. I'm here to tell you, we're having deals that are unheard of right now. So if you thought about maybe making that play and getting the best water possible, this time is it. Check them out today. The Connecticut days are underway. I just want you to be a part of it. I want you to have the best water and have that great water feeling that I have right now, because financially now it's within your reach with great deals from Connecticut. Tell Joe and John that I sent you. The two locations, northeast side Castleton, south side US 31 and Southport Road. The Connecticut Water app, download that to your smartphone or device today or online, ConnecticutIndy.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Football and Fireball is a match made in heaven. And by heaven, of course, we mean Twin Peaks. Spice things up next game day with a shot of their favorite cinnamon whiskey. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
It's the BullseyeEventGroup.com Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. All you can eat, all you can drink, 3 hours before kickoff inside the Bullseye Event Center right across the street from Lucas Oil Stadium. Get your passes today. BullseyeEventGroup.com for the Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. All you can eat and the food presented by Food Network chef Aaron May. Bullseye Event Group offers indoor and outdoor climate control lounge seating for a VIP tailgate experience. All ages welcome. Go to BullseyeEventGroup.com and get your tickets now.
College football coverage this Saturday on The Fan is brought to you by Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your trusted independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer in Johnson County.
The Pacers open up the preseason in Charlotte against the Hornets. Wednesday evening at 6:30 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Jonathan Taylor stays in as the back to the left of Ryan. Good protection. Now it wears out. And he lost the ball. He is strip sacked. The ball is out. It's all the way at the 31-yard line. And it looks like the Colts. Nope, Tennessee's got it. That is the 8th fumble this season by Matt Ryan. And for the Colts, that's the 13th sack they have allowed. Bud Dupree picks it up.
Does anybody feel better today than Danico Autry, by the way, too? Just absolutely torching his whole team. They had zero answer for him. None. Matt Taylor, Colts Radio Network. Buffalo Wild Wings, our location in Plainfield. Field. Looking for you today. We got stuff to give away. Tickets to the next Colts home game. That's against Jacksonville. Clearly, that will hold some importance. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear about last week. I don't want to hear about, hey, at least they came back. It sounds like you're trying to tell me about IU football, for God's sake. Quit. I don't want to know about these fleeting bullcrap great moments that shouldn't matter. You got to expect more. This is not how this is supposed to be. Oh, well, Chase hit one from 51. Who cares? Last week. I don't care about last week. You have some consistent, higher-level football. That first half was a joke. All right, I don't even have enough time now. See, this is all going to completely piss me off right here. I don't want to hear about last year either. I'm sorry, I don't. Well, this is what the Colts do. You may think this is what the Colts do, but this is not what the Colts are supposed to do. This is what you all should be tired of by now. This leads you down the path of apathy, of not caring. And I mentioned this. It's like trying to reel you back in. How about stringing together some good, positive quarters back to back to back to back so you don't have to do the reeling back in, or we don't have to celebrate these ridiculous fleeting moments of short-term success. You guys are better than that. Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live if you want to get there. If you struggle with the app, there are a variety of ways to get to us. And certainly inside the Lounge via YouTube Live, you can also communicate with those in there. There's a little conversation going on. Shout out to the Bud Light Robot. Buffalo Wild Wings, we're in Plainfield. They bring us to you on this Blue Monday with our friends at Bud Light. I've got tickets for you, a helmet. I've got Bob Kravitz in the 5. More of your calls. Jake Query of the Morning Show's next.
It's about to get real.
Sean Salisbury, we're mad at the Colts here.
There's a sense of urgency or execution that's missing. There's way too much discrepancy between good and bad. You can't overcome turnover after turnover and 2 yards rushing per attempt for what most of us consider one of the top backs in the league. Too many extremes going one way or the other, and unfortunately the negative extremes have been far more than the positive ones this year.
Dan Dockage, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
I will tell you this, regardless of whatever happens inside the stadium, I can guarantee you this. I can guarantee you a hell of a time. I can guarantee you the best game day experience possible. Because by the time you make the walk across the street to go watch football, whatever the case might be, you've already had yourself a day. All you can eat, all you can drink. DJ Skids, DJ Helicon, Bullseye Event Center, bullseyeeventgroup.com. It's Colts VIP Tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. I think we all need a party right now. And you certainly will need a party before you actually go. And this is what you're looking for. Again, bullseyeeventgroup.com, Colts VIP Tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. Next up before the Jacksonville game, be a part of it. And before you even see a snap of football, your game day experience is made. Also, remember, we're going to Vegas coming up in November. I'd love to see you guys out there and hang out with you as well. Those passes, those tickets available right now. Log on, bullseyeeventgroup.com.
Chantilly engagement ring, Caspian sapphire and diamond wedding band, Venus ruby and diamond wedding band. You've got to come to Shane Company to see our uniquely designed rings. Our in-house design team travels the world for inspiration to bring you stunning new styles in every price range. Try on any ring, hold it in your hand and feel its weight. Look closely at it. You'll be amazed with the design and the details. A Shane Company ring looks gorgeous from every angle. Choose from a range of engagement ring styles, from timeless classic rings to decorative floral rings, in platinum, yellow gold, white gold, and our lovely signature shade of rose gold. You'll see our team's passion for beautiful design when you look at our wedding bands as well. The largest selection of high-quality bands for everyone and every budget. Your rings are a symbol of your everlasting love. Visit the store or shop online to find the perfect rings for you.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Hey, it's John here from Mark Dito. Mark Dito Realty. The best one out there is Mark. If you're thinking about selling, maybe downsizing smaller digs is what's necessary, or maybe upgrading. Let's go with the best. That's Mark Dito. Mark Dito Realty, 317-755-4232. MarkDietel.com. That's MarkDietel.com. Today, so many different stories of incredible success that it's tough to share them all, so I'll just tell you this. In your time of need, which is this, knowing you have to go with the best go with the best, and especially in terms of Mark Dietel having guarantees. Multiple offers in 3 days for full market value, or he's going to list it for free. Mark Dietel Realty today. Make that call, 317-755-4232. That's markdietel.com, MarkDietel.com today.
Golf Performance Academy at Golf Club of Indiana's 6,000 square foot indoor-outdoor golf facility is geared toward lessons, club fitting, practice of the full swing, and putting. Each hitting bay offers flight scope technology to track each shot and provide feedback. With 8 large screen TVs, full beverage service, free Wi-Fi, and a conference room, they can provide opportunities for social and corporate functions. The Golf Performance Academy, the only facility of its kind in the state, even in the country. Call 769-3482 for more.
Hey, John, for PAI, WeGrowHairIndy.com. That's 888-724-5129. Real growing hair, as you can check out via YouTube Live. Yes, the lettuce is thick and plentiful because of Darren Andrews. 888-724-5129. WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
Hey, sports fans, this is Ultimate Vegas Insider John Anthony, and I'm on fire. To prove it, I'm releasing my Monday Night Report exclusively on the recorded message line. Monday nights, 25-9, last 2 years. That's 74% winners. I'm red hot. Call 1-800-808-3481. L.A. San Francisco's a lock. And the total to parlay, plus Thursday and Saturday's early release, John Anthony has you covered. We go 5-0 the season free. 1-800-808-3481. Information wins. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. I'll prove it. L.A. San Francisco's a lock. Win the side. Win the total. Parlay and teasers cash in. A $200 player wins $3,000 this week. Recorded message 1-800-808-3481. L.A. San Francisco. We go 5-0 the season free. 1-800-808-3481. That's 1-800-808-3481. Or go to johnanthonysports.com.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WIBC HD2 W298BB. WIBC HD3 W228CX. Indianapolis. Tennessee travels to LSU on American Standards College Football Saturday. The action begins at noon on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
This will be the high point of my day. It's all downhill from here.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Clock is moving, though, under 8 minutes here in this third period, setting up second down and goal as they spot the ball at the 7-yard line.
They have really had trouble with crossing patterns down in here. We hit Mo Alley before. They lose their coverage on crossing routes.
Granson goes in, splits out to the right side along with 2 other tight ends, Mo Alley Cox and Jelani Woods. Now Granson motions to the left, now back to the right side. Ryan backs the pass, throws left side into the end zone, walking in, touchdown! Mo Alley Cox, his second touchdown today. It's all tight ends in the red zone for the Colts. It's 24-16.
Matt Taylor, Rick Venturi, a shout out to Rick for the call right there. Getting that bad boy right going into it. A little prediction as we start hour 2. Buffalo Wild Wings. You know I love Buffalo Wild Wings, and I love this location in Plainfield. I'm looking for you here. It's a Bud Light Blue Monday. We've got tickets to give away for the Jacksonville game. We've got an autographed helmet to give away, too. Monday Night Football tonight. Just great food, and this Plainfield location is fantastic. Always has been. I'd love to see all of my Hendricks County, Morgan County friends out here later on this afternoon, like Ross is out there as well, to hang out with us on this Blue Monday, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Awesome time just yesterday. Not so much. Got into that. The Colts loss. Short week coming up. Denver on Thursday. Shaquille Leonard, Tyquan Lewis ruled out. Both concussions. I believe both. I know certainly Leonard was friendly fire from Zaire Franklin. I think both kind of were friendly fire from yesterday as well. And we'll find out. I think news, at least now, sounds better for Jonathan Taylor than initially did. A dinged-up Jonathan Taylor, though, even playing with the amount of space this offensive line has given him to run, has been absolutely ridiculous. And, yes, you probably noticed that the sound of me so far today, I was a little hot about that first half of play yesterday. And I think rightly so. at some point, you got to say enough is enough. And people want to point to, well, they came back in the second half. I don't care. They still lost. And it was because of the first half. How can you come out like that? What type of profound issue might there be going on, especially leading up to, with what the owner said in the offseason, and that's the first half of play, which I think we can all get on the same page, was absolutely dreadful. So everybody always wants to point the finger to, well, they came back. I don't care. This is not how it's supposed to be. This is not the product that you're supposed to expect. Well, look at last week. They beat Kansas City. I don't care about last week. I mean, hopefully you beat somebody. Hopefully. And you beat Kansas City, great. But you're 0-2-1 so far within your own division. And that's going to sing you a lullaby before anything else. And then when you lean on, well, this is what this team does, and look what they did last year. What they did last year was crap. It just was. Start out bad, win some games in the middle, construct some false hope for everybody, and then let everybody down spectacularly at the end. Yeah, that's something I think we all should be talking about. That was fantastic. That was fun. How enjoyable was that? So enough of all this conversation. All right, let's just talk about it in terms of what it was yesterday. And they got buried in the first half. And for whatever reason, they didn't look ready to play. There certainly was no inspiration in their play. It was emotionless. It was far from mistake-free. And the offensive line looked the part of one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL this season. So where do you start? At the head coach? Offensive line coach? The offense? I mean, the defense was put into some bad situations because of the offense. People ask me about Matt Ryan. No, Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan had great stats yesterday. But 10 fumbles this season so far. 10? And that's how you play. After an off season, again, of soaking in it, after a week of hearing about it, after on Thursday, when the owner dropped in the whole primal tweet and all that on video, that is how you start. And then you ask me if the coach, in this case Frank Reich, has lost the locker room. I don't know. I'm not in the locker room, but if you're in terms of trying to eyeball something, you're easily led to believe that locker room has been lost. There's any question. Get back to that in a second on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. By the way, Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live. Get there. Get inside the conversation. I'll be in there with you momentarily as well. For the morning show, Jake Query joins us from Kevin and Query, again on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. There are a lot of things I'm sick of. There are a lot of things that don't affect me, but that first half of play yesterday, and you saw this, up there, I could shaking my head. It's all stuff we've seen. It's all, unfortunately, stuff we've become used to with this team. But yesterday just struck a chord with me differently than anything else, in particular that first half. What about you?
I left, John, if you recall, right about halftime. I was walking out of the press box, and you said, "Man, you leaving?" And I said, I would like to stay, but I have to go to an algebra tutor from 3 until 6. And my algebra tutor from 3 until 6 was the second most confusing thing I could have partaken in yesterday. And the other was watching that bleep show, because I don't get it. I don't understand how, as a franchise, you can beg and plead for your fans to show up and be primal and be pissed off and be loud. And you can tell us that as a franchise, you're all chips in, and you can spout from the mountaintops to anybody that will listen that divisional games are double. And you go out for your third chance to win a divisional game this year, and you have yet to do it. You are as flat as can be. Everybody in that building knows that Derrick Henry is the guy that's going to get the football, and yet whether they throw it to him on a flare, they throw it to him on a sweep, they're running up the middle, everybody seems stunned that he's getting it. That was an inexcusably flat performance from a franchise that has asked everything out of their fan base and not done a single thing that they've asked the fans to do, and that's show up and be committed. It was embarrassing. It should be the people here should be PO'd. People should refuse to spend their hard-earned money to go watch that kind of crap again on a beautiful fall day until they see some sort of a commitment that there is some sort of an investment towards bettering it. Because this city that has spent a ton of money on that franchise deserves better.
Jay Cray, the morning show, is with us. People ask me, has the head coach lost the locker room? And I don't know because I'm not in there. But at the same time, if you are going to define a head coach losing the locker room in terms of the build-up and the lead-up, especially with all that was provided by the owner leading up to that game, that looked like a coach that lost his locker room in that first half. That's how it looked. And I know that's easily cliched away, but if you were going to eyeball it, that's exactly what it looks like.
John, let me say this. I think Jim Irsay is a good person. I think he's a well-intended, kind-hearted person. I think Frank Reich is a good person. I don't know him well, but I think he is a well-intended, good-spirited, good man. I think Chris Ballard has very good virtues about him. He clearly is a family guy that has a kind heart. However, none of that wins you football games. And when you ask me if Frank Reich has lost the locker room, I'm not certain, and I agree with you. I mean, we're not in the locker room. Anybody that claims they are, unless they're a member of the roster, is lying to you. However, I don't know that we can answer that because to lose the locker room, you first have to have it. And to have the locker room means that you've gone on deep runs or you've inspired teams to play better than who they are. Have the Colts under Frank Reich ever played better than who they are? Did he ever have the locker room?
Well, I was thinking, I asked this question, when was the last time we saw a game-wise, consistently played performance by the Colts? You go back to Buffalo. It's funny, when you think back, Jake, and you were here as well, to the last era with Pagano and with Grigson and what they wanted to do. They wanted to run the football and kind of that blueprint performance that outlined what they wanted to do and their vision of that team was that game, if you remember, in San Francisco. I think it was Ahmad Bradshaw. That was Trent Richardson's first game, which evokes a lot of great memories. That was like the blueprint of how they wanted to play and then win games. And I think you saw last year with Buffalo, that was the blueprint of how they want to win games here now with Chris and Frank. The problem is that the blueprint looks certainly more broken right now and unattainable as far as a level of consistent success. These foundational pieces that Chris Ballard has put together to this point, I'm sorry, with the results we have seen, it's failed.
John, I said it this morning, and I'm going to repeat it, and my apologies for repeating for those that heard it this morning. But I'm telling you, it reminds me of this. It reminds me of when McLaren came over with Fernando Alonso to run the Indy 500, and everybody's like, oh, my goodness, two-time Formula One world champion plus a team with the resume of McLaren, they're going to be unbelievable. And McLaren came over and sat in their garage and was doing things, and they were way off pace, and they were way off pace, and they were way off pace. And people went to them and said, like, hey, maybe you should try this or try that. And they didn't listen to it. Then it turns out what they had was a car that was set up by design for road and street courses, which is a completely different aerodynamic package than ovals. And they were trying to use the metric system as opposed to the data that was given to them and the, American math system. My point being, they had the wherewithal and the knowledge and the resume to build a really good race car, but they built it the wrong way. And I feel like the Colts have the wherewithal and probably some of the players to build and be a good football team. But they're doing it in the metric system when the rest of the NFL is doing American math. Chris Ballard was insistent on an archaic form of football that you don't win with in 2022. And I don't understand why, if everybody in this town could see that, he refused to listen to people when they said, you need playmakers in space. You need wide receivers that can get separation. You need a quarterback that can get rid of the ball quickly and a line that can protect them. And he wouldn't listen to anybody, and he was smarter than everybody. And I get it. I understand the pride. I understand that he does know more about football than I do. But at the same time, I think that he thought he was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers, And eventually you've got to realize that if everybody in the room is playing checkers, the only way to win at checkers is to play that and not play chess. And I just think that's where they are. And I don't know how you reverse it at this point. And again, I want to go back to also, John, you and I both know if they win Thursday night in Denver, everything's peachy keen and everybody's a genius again, except for that they've played 3 divisional games now and they have yet to win one. That is a huge, huge, huge hole to bury yourself out.
Well, we got to say, Jake Cray joins us. We got to stop lowering the bar. I mean, I hear about, these, well, this is the team that they are. Look what they did last year. And I've told everybody, last year sucked. There was no greatness in last year. All right, last year sucked at the beginning, and then they won some games, and then it sucked at the end. I mean, basically what you lean on last year was the New England game, the Buffalo game, and then that Christmas night game in Arizona. And that was it. I mean, it was sucked at the beginning, sucked at the end. 2 years prior, you get to the postseason because they add a postseason spot. So I don't really know what people want to lean on as, well, this is what this team does, because there's no greatness in what this team does. And part of the issue in which, Jake, you allude to here is this offensive line. You put all of this stock, all of these resources in this offensive line, and it just hasn't failed to this point or been bad, right? It has failed miserably to this point, and that is going to lead ultimately to the failure of this entire team. You can't make up for that with this team, with a 37-year-old quarterback, with an inexperienced group of pass catchers. You cannot get up off the mat if that offensive line not just plays bad football, but continues to dwell in the depths in which we have seen so far. There is just no way. And by the way, if that is what this team is, if that's who they are, that's going to have a profound, Jake, effect on the future. There's no doubt about that. There's going to be some effect on the future with paying guys like Smith, with, paying guys like Kelly. Quentin Nelson got worked a couple of different times by Danico Autry on Sunday. I'm sorry, if you're paid at that level, that crap can't happen. You start right there. Their failures lead us to where this team has been so far this year.
I totally agree. I mean, the line itself, look, don't tell me that you don't need to go out and spend on – they're under the cap. They're under the cap because they didn't need to spend on receivers and playmakers because they were going to build in the trenches. Well, guess what? The trenches yesterday got their asses kicked. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Quentin Nelson, $20 million a year, and the guy you let walk is turnstiling him. People should be PO'd. And again, it's early in the year. A quarter of the season does not a season make, but they got some glaring problems they need to get fixed, and they need to get fixed quickly.
Yeah, and that's the problem overall, Jake, is you look at it, and there doesn't look like there's any hope whatsoever. I mean, there doesn't.
That's the problem, John. I mean, where's the light at the end of the tunnel? What's the future?
Yeah, I know.
Matt Ryan is going to be sipping cocktails on Kiowa Island here in 3 years, or back in Philly, his hometown, whatever it might be. So then where do you turn? What's the answer? I mean, every team in the AFC that they're contending with right now, and I realize that football is a now game and not a future game, but where is the light at the end of the tunnel here? Because if you're just going with quarterback rotation every 2 years, I've seen this movie. I've seen Gary Hogeboom. I've seen Don Bukowski. I've seen Chris Chandler. I've seen Craig Erickson. I've seen Steve Walsh. I've seen Jack Trudeau. I've seen Jim Harbaugh. I've seen Paul Justin. I've seen Ricky Turner. I've seen this quarterback rotation crap every 2 years. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And so what do? The franchises that have competency up top, instead of sitting around and talking, they went out and they found their guy. And guess what? Now the Chargers and the Bills and the Chiefs and the Bengals, I mean, sure, it helps to have the number one overall pick. I get it. It's easier said than done. I totally get that too. But they have had opportunities. The Andrew Luck excuse is long gone, man. It's long gone. Long gone. I'm telling you, man, people should be PO'd.
No, and I agree, and that's the direction that they're going. I would rather them right now be going off on that first half of play, because the other side of that is you hear people going, hey, you know what? I decided to go out and do algebra. or I decided to go out and do something else in the afternoon. There was something other I would rather be doing than watching that game. And I know that winning cures all, but when you've kind of fallen for it, the level of winning, you keep lowering the bar on it right here. And that's problematic. That leads to apathy, and apathy is pure evil against a sports team, especially a sports team in a market this size. It just is.
John, here's what, and Kevin pointed this out yesterday on Twitter. I had this epiphany this morning, and he's like, yeah, man, I tweeted that yesterday. But Kevin's typically a step ahead of me. I get it. But look at the divisional games. All we hear about is how divisional games mean double. And you got to be ready for divisional games. And we need the crowd to be pissed and primal and whatever, energetic, da-da-da. Let's look at what they've done. Yesterday in the first half against Tennessee, down 24-3. Against Jacksonville in the game, down 24-0. Against Houston on the road, down 20-3. What? Like, don't ask me to get prepared and excited for a divisional game when you come out and you're getting outscored like that in the first half of these games. That's either terrible execution, complete apathy by your locker room, or terrible game planning. I don't know which it is, but none of those are a good combination. I mean, if I'm Jim Irsay, I'm livid.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can be livid, but, if you just kind of just let her go here. I mean, Jim Irsay has gone without a great deal of criticism through all this. But when the same things, Jake, continue to happen, and then you get that whole rah-rah speech, and then you have a first half like we saw yesterday and another rah-rah speech, another first half, or another result that we have seen so far, all of a sudden then the owner is going to be the one talked about. And rightly so, because it's your team. There's no doubt about it. But they're in such, to me, a problematic situation. I felt yesterday that loss was a microcosm of how this team was built and the foundational building blocks failing it at a high level. And that's not just bad for this year. That's going to be bad for years further down the road. That's more problematic than, just a weekend, for example, Jake, in October. It is.
I can't disagree, man. I mean, I do think that Jim Irsay, there's a long book that could probably be written about it, because I think that Jim Irsay, in his defense and to his credit, saw the kind of owner and the volatility and what it did to the franchise of his father's shortcomings. And Jim Irsay has worked tirelessly to not be his father. But I think at some point, maybe that pendulum swings almost detrimentally to the other side, where now all of a sudden people don't necessarily fear your volatility and you're going out and you're doing things to be engaging for people and to be fun. And I love all of that, but that's all well and good until the primary reason that people see you is not delivering. And that is as an owner of a franchise that people feel, and whether it's right or wrong, Jim Irsay is the sole independent owner of the Indianapolis Colts. But people that give good, hard-earned money, and the NFL is a business and an expensive one, and people that are working hard, making $45,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year, hourly wage, whatever it might be, when they give a certain percentage of their income to go down, park, buy a ticket, go to a game, buy a beer, buy a hot dog, that investment, they feel, gives them an entitlement to what they consider to be a subtle ownership of the franchise. It doesn't mean that literally to do so, but that's the emotion that fans have towards the franchise. And it's important that Jim Irsay feel that connection to those fans and is philanthropic to them, and I get that. But at the same time, then with that comes a responsibility to have people know or feel or assume that you're not afraid to go in there and kick a boot around a little bit when the team's not playing well. And I think right now people are starting to question whether or not his desire to not be his father is holding him back from tightening the fist the way it needs to be tightened on having the grip of his franchise. And that's
Jay Cray, the Yep, Jay Cray, the morning show, Kevin and Query, weekday morning 7 until 10 a.m. with us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Buffalo Wild Wings in Plainfield on a Blue Monday with our friends from Buffalo Wild Wings and Bud Light today. Great to see you out here. Jerry Watkins had tweeted me this. I didn't know this. I didn't know if you'd heard it. He said that McAfee said on his show today that Jelani Woods was kept out of the game for a majority of the snaps over texting during Mass on Sunday. Is that true? I mean, Jerry's normally, I wouldn't read this just from a random dude. He's normally somebody that listens to a lot. Have you heard that?
I have not heard that. That's the first I've heard of that. But Woods was in there a lot yesterday, wasn't he?
I thought that he was. I didn't really notice. Maybe it's because the tight end group did all the work yesterday offensively. That's the reason why I didn't notice it. But I was just kind of curious. I just saw that, and I hadn't heard that anywhere else.
I had not heard that, and I'm looking. Of course, my computer's freezing up here, but I'm curious how many. Didn't he get a lot of targets yesterday? Because I remember thinking at one point, like, here we go, like they're really relying. I mean, their tight end group in general seemed to get a lot of looks yesterday, partially out of necessity, but partially because they played well, and I would put Woods in that category. I mean, I remember yesterday he had one really good play there in the first half. So I had not heard that. I'm looking right now. I think I've got it here in just a second on how many targets he got yesterday. Jelani Woods yesterday, he only had one catch for 33 yards. I take that back. He only had one target, so I stand corrected. But they did use the tight ends a lot. I mean, obviously, Granson got a lot of catches, so, you know.
Jelani Woods, according to Kyle back at the studio, played 15 snaps.
Okay. You would think coming off of a 2-touchdown performance, maybe more than that, so maybe there's some accuracy to that.
Well, one of the reasons I wouldn't have thought about it was because they did have the tight ends had success. I mean, between, I should say Mo Alley Cox and Kylan Granson, those are the guys that made most of the offensive plays yesterday against the Tennessee Titans. So that's I guess why I didn't think about it in that context. But I hadn't heard that until just now.
I also had not heard that, but I mean, Pat would know, I would think, right?
Yeah, that's weird, too, because, man, that goes inside the inside right now, and you know how that goes over there. That won't go very well, will it? That kind of inside on the inside of what's going on right there. So
that is true.
Yeah, no doubt. Jay Query, the morning show, is with us. So what do you think? Get a long week next week? Does Chris Strasser, the offensive line coach, because I kind of feel this way right now, is this kind of the last stand here? If this offensive line struggles in Denver coming up on Thursday night, then you roll into a long week to get ready for the next week. Because we've seen examples made of, Danny Pinter, which is laughable. We've seen, Blankenship, which clearly yesterday didn't give you any good signs with McLaughlin missing that kick. But will this be the next example of things continue to go so woefully for this offensive line?
I mean, they got to play well. They got to improve, and they got to play well. I personally don't think that the Colts, because, look, I'm frustrated. I know fans are frustrated. I'm trying to speak on behalf of fans to an extent. Maybe that's unfair of me. But I feel like people are frustrated and need their voice. They want their voices heard about what. So I'm playing that role, I guess, to an extent. But I also don't think they're terrible. And I know people hate hearing it. I do kind of agree when they say that they're not far off from being competitive and being good, and this division is so bad. They've dug themselves a huge hole, man, a huge hole. But it's still early enough that there is. I mean, we've seen Colts teams in the past where then they get hot and the season ebbs and flows an awful lot. There was a time last year where we thought they were the best team in the league, and then they missed the playoffs. So I mean, a lot can happen. So I don't know. I do think that Jim Irsay wants to be stable and wait until an off season to make moves. But they got to play well in Denver, and if they don't, then they can start taking on water quickly. There's no doubt about it. I can't imagine they're going to go out and do it. Would it surprise you at all? I said this going into Kansas City. Remember, I said, look, they'll probably beat Kansas City, and they did. Would it surprise? Denver's got their own issues. Denver's got their own problems. Going in there probably doesn't help because it's on the road and the altitude. But Denver isn't overly imposing. But if they don't play well, it wouldn't shock me if there were changes made. but I wouldn't anticipate it, to be honest with you. But maybe I'm being optimistic.
Yeah, what's funny about this is I guess I look at it more negatively here. I don't see redeeming qualities where this team is going to be capable of stringing together productive quarters and at the level in which is going to be necessary here. And this is not just coming with a slow start or, it seems to me this offensive line is broken. And if this offensive line is broken, this team is going to be broken. They're scoring 14 points a game. That doesn't get any better if this offensive line doesn't improve. And, Jake, it has to improve so drastically. I don't have in my mind a belief that they're going to be able to do it. I just don't.
Let's look at the offensive line. You got a right side of the line that's broken. You got a left side of the line that's got one guy you just paid $20 million to that just basically was the most hospitable guest of all on Danico Autry's return. And you've got a center who I realize and understand and respect has probably gone through some tough personal times, but is not playing well at all. Your staple on your line is supposed to be Quentin Nelson, and he's regressed.
Yeah, he got worked yesterday too.
Yeah, brutal.
And the other thing too, think about left tackle for a moment. You brought up the arrogance of Ballard earlier. The arrogance that you believe that you can put a guy that predominantly has been a guard in his time in the NFL, who has played less than sparingly at left tackle. You could put him at left tackle. He could be a starting left tackle for a successful team with what is supposed to be a great offensive line and a 37-year-old quarterback. That you look at that right now, and this is not all about Matt Pryor. I'm just making an example of this. That seems like one of the worst decisions of all time. Who in the hell thinks that? In this era of the NFL and knowing how important that position is, who thinks that that's going to work? Why would that work?
The left tackle position for the Colts has been like the credit card where you feel like you just keep making the monthly payments and you're going to be okay. Eventually that interest compounds and you find yourself underwater. And that's what's happened, man. That interest has come back to haunt him.
I just
I don't get it. I got no answer to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Maybe it's a position they just took for granted for so long because they had two guys that did it for so long.
Let me tell you this. I made and everybody has told me it's ridiculous. So, okay, it's ridiculous. I had made how long the argument of, hey, if you're going to pay this guy $20 million, have him play left tackle. And then everybody laughed at my ass. Including Ballard in a press conference laughed at it. Okay, that's fine. Laugh at it. But to me, it would be more logical in doing that than it would what they ultimately did at that position.
Listen, I hosted 4 shows with Anthony Costanzo and played ping pong with him twice. And I knew a year ahead of time he was going to retire. So how the hell did they not?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That one's... And again, this is not an indictment on Pryor because there's plenty of this lack of love to go around. You just think about what goes into that decision-making and why anybody thinks that would work. And you can have success at that. What is necessary here long-term? And I know Jonathan Taylor fumbled yesterday. Jonathan Taylor has nowhere to go. Nowhere. Hey, by the way, too, Nyheim Hines had, I'm going to paraphrase this quote, where he said, hey, this is no excuse, but we've had a different quarterback every year. And when you read that quote, it sounds like that is a subtle shot at Chris Ballard. I don't know if you've read that quote or not, but maybe that's something you could comment on when you read it further coming up tomorrow morning. But it kind of struck me as a bit of a shot. Even if it was an unintended shot, it sounded like a shot at Ballard.
And that's a guy in Nyheim Hines who's always pretty much taken the company line. You know what I mean? Like, he's an optimistic guy. He's a professional. He's a nice guy. I get the feeling there's some dissension within. I don't know that. I'm not at practices, but it just feels that way, right? It feels like there's guys not happy with their roles. And this is what happens, man. You start teetering and you start balancing, and before you know it, man, that season get away from you, and all hell breaks loose. And I hope that's not where they are right now, but it feels like it's teetering that way.
There just has not been enough positive and especially positive strung together here consistently for anybody to believe that a turnaround is coming. And again, I'll address this. What type of turnaround are you talking about? A turnaround like last year? I mean, we've just have lowered the bar so much in expectations week after week here. It's pretty sickening, I think. And I sit here and I can tell you this. I'm tired of it. Watching that first half yesterday, I don't get emotional about these games. I try to remain as even keel as possible. But that first half of play pissed me off. I thought it was a joke.
Totally agree. Hey, man, why do you think I left to go do algebra?
I didn't want to do that, but I wasn't about to do that. But I'm just, that is tired. It just knowing what was on the line and all that stuff we've already talked about. It is bad, strikingly bad, how a team could come out there and put together a half of football, knowing what was on the line, knowing what has been said, and knowing that that's coming from the owner. And if I'm the owner and somebody asks me, do you think your head coach has lost the locker room? I think that's the greatest example that we could see so far was that first half yesterday, regardless of coming back in the second half. Because let's face it, the game was over. The game was done in the first half. They were done into the first half.
I mean, I really felt like when I left and Mo Alley Cox had just scored, I thought, you know what, if they can get a stop to start the second half, they're going to be okay. And then I couldn't believe they couldn't get it going, man. Couldn't believe it.
All right.
He went to do. They had good food there.
Yeah, I don't mind being up there because you and Whitlick provide some pretty decent entertainment for me up there. I just that first half, and people have told me already, well, why don't you expect this? Yeah, I don't expect that. I expect much more. This is not how it's supposed to be here, and that's what we're talking about today at length. Jake, I appreciate it. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., you're back.
Bob Kravitz joins us tomorrow morning. We'll talk about this. We'll replay some of our Jeff Saturday comments from this morning. So a lot to talk about to continue talking about what happened yesterday.
You got it. Jake Query, the morning show, Kevin and Query. Jake, thank you very much. Weekday morning, 7 until 10 a.m. Yeah, I know. A lot of you are going, man, you sound like extra crotchety today. This might be, man, I'm way over. I'll go into this. Maybe this is not the reason why, but it adds to the crotchety nature in which I'm in right now. Buffalo Wild Wings, Plainfield. Bud Light, we're coming to you on a chance for you to win some tickets to the Jaguars game and a helmet, autographs, and everything coming up here a little bit later on. Don't go anywhere. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
This is the Colts Review on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Here's the voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome into the Colts Review, brought to you by Arby's. On game days, Colts fans can get 4 classic roast beefs for just $10 at participating Indianapolis Arby's locations. That is 4 famously tender Arby's roast beefs for just $10, valid on classic size only. Well, the Colts are 1-2-1 on the season after a 24-17 loss to the Titans on Sunday. As the Colts remain winless in the AFC South in 3 tries, they lost to the Titans for the 4th consecutive time and for the 5th time in the last 6 head-to-head meetings. The Colts got down early, trailing 24-3 in the second quarter. Tennessee scored points in the first 4 drives of the game, and it marked the 3rd straight contest against a divisional foe in which the Colts trailed by at least 17 points. The Colts turned the ball over 3 times, including 2 lost fumbles, and the Colts are now -6 in the turnover margin on the season, and they only have 2 takeaways on defense on the year. After giving up 24 points in the first half, the Colts yielded no points in the second half. In fact, Tennessee only had 34 yards of offense in the second half. The Colts pulled within 7 points in the fourth quarter, but turnovers, costly mistakes, and clutch first downs by Tennessee were the difference down the stretch. The Colts have no time to sulk, no time to wallow and feel sorry for themselves. They've got to get it together on a short week. They play on Thursday night in Denver on a short week in week number 5. And that's it for the Colts Review today, brought to you by Arby's on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
fall in Indy. And if you hate painting year after year, do what your neighbor Edwina did. She called Rhino Shield.
So over the years, I had to touch up the house. I just got to the point where I couldn't spend any more money on the outside of the house. And when I saw Rhino Shield, I thought that was the answer to my problem.
And Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
I'd had painters here before, and it was usually quite a disaster with them leaving their equipment here and picking up things in the yard. But Rhino Shield was right on it.
Get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
The gentleman said, if you're interested, give me a call. And I said, honestly, can you come tomorrow?
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, it's JMV here, and it's time to think about replacing your old water softener. How about Kinetico with these softeners that are brilliantly designed to work and will provide your family with plenty of soft water on demand. And, hey, listen, now is the best time ever to act. How about $1,000 off a Premier Series water softener? Yeah, $1,000 off and up to $500 off a K5 in-home drinking water station. That is serious savings only from Kinetico. My friends Joe and John today. Visit them at 8828 Corporation Drive today. That's on the northeast side. The Kinetico Water app, download that to your smartphone or device today. You've got the Southport Road location on the south side, or for more info, that's KineticoIndy.com today.
Start a new career with a job that keeps your community safe. The Marion County Sheriff, Carrie Forrestal, is hiring detention deputies to work in the brand new Community Justice Center. You'll supervise and guard offenders, making Marion County a better place to live. Starting pay begins at around $40,000 a year with a $5,000 signing bonus. Enjoy great benefits like complete health coverage and pension plan. Start your career as a detention deputy and earn the respect of your community. Apply today at joinmcso.indy.gov.
Colts season is underway, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Hey, it's Mark from Kevin and Query. Right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet good for up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. All you have to do is download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code MARK. FanDuel has all your favorite bet types, from money line to point spreads to player props. Same-game parlays are one of my favorites. They let you combine multiple bets from the same game for an even bigger payout. Plus, the app is safe, secure, and easy to use, and when you win, you get paid quick. So again, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today and sign up with promo code MARK for your no-sweat first bet good for up to $1,000. That's promo code MARK, M-A-R-C. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the Indianapolis Colts. 21 and over and present in Indiana. First online real money wager only. Refund issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, everybody, we've all heard stories from friends and family about something really bad that happened. You're in an accident, there's a painful, life-altering injury, huge medical bills, even wrongful death, all from someone else's fault. Some of you are dealing with it right now, and that's where the attorneys at Paul Ritchie Law Firm can help. Tony Patterson, Paul Cruz, and John McLaughlin lead a team with over 70 years of collective courtroom experience and millions of dollars in jury awards and settlements for their clients. None of us can change the past. Just know that Tony, Paul, and John are on your side to help you and your family going forward. They're recognized by Super Lawyers and U.S. News and World Report as being among the leading injury lawyers in Indiana. Even if you're unsure you have a case, give Paul Ritchie a call. They'll listen and give you their free experienced legal opinion. Call 317-269-2509 or visit parinjury.com. That's P-A-R-R injury.com.
Tim Tebow is the keynote speaker for Life Center's Celebration of Life Banquet, right here in Indy. Register at lifecenters.com for the banquet on Wednesday, October 26th at the JW Marriott downtown. This event is the largest fundraiser for Life Centers, a ministry that helps women making pregnancy-related decisions and provides baby and maternity items to local families. Don't miss Tim Tebow at the JW Marriott downtown on October 26th. Register at lifecenters.com. lifecenters.com.
To beat back winter weather, you got to plan and prepare to win, because good labor's hard to find. Get ready with the new Boss Snow Raider. It's the ultimate sidewalk solution and the new standard for on-the-job productivity. With the Boss Snow Raider, you'll be more equipped to tackle wintry sidewalks than ever before. Keep them open with a Boss Snow Raider, now in stock and ready to rock. Boss, built to back you up.
Get them before they're sold out at Midstate Truck Equipment, Allisonville Road at 106th Street, 849-4903 or mid-statetruck.com.
Football is back, and so is your chance to win with BetRivers Sportsbook app. Featuring our new multi-game same-game parlay. Combine the action of multiple same-game parlays in one bet for more action and bigger payouts. Bet the spread, bet the over, bet player props, and more. Throw in daily odds boost plus award-winning customer service, and it's a touchdown. Download it today.
Must be 21 plus. Available in Indiana only. Void where prohibited. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's John for LD Smith Plumbing, the best in plumbing. That's Lance and his local team. I'm telling you, too, the only time normally you think about it is when you have emergencies. And the best to deal with any plumbing emergency in your home or business, Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing. That's ldsmithplumbing.com, and ask for the 83-year free deal. Any clog in your drain at home, they're going to unclog that, make sure it's clog-free for $83, and the visit is free. The best in local plumbing. Make it a priority with your plumbing needs. Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Hi, it's Bob from Royal Spa. Soaking in a hot tub full of Epsom salts is the absolute best way to minimize everyday aches and pains. And we know all about Epsom salts at Royal Spa. Royal Spa hot tubs are the only hot tubs on the market that can safely and effectively use Epsom salts. Made right here in Indiana, Royal Spa hot tubs are the highest quality hot tubs on the market. Visit any one of our 3 Indianapolis locations or visit RoyalSpa.com.
Ah, Royal Spa.
The Ride with JMV.
Bullish Brent's hanging and banging with you until the 8 o'clock hour. Coming up, we have artists such as Living Color and the Fine Young Cannibals right now. Here's Roxette, The Look, 89.9 WROL.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Henry officially over 100 yards. This is his first 100-yard rushing game of the season and his 6th career 100-yard rushing game against the Colts. 2nd down and 7 at the 27-yard line. Tannehill under center, ball on the near hash. Play action, rolls out to his left. The Colts are wise to it, and they bring him down with a sack. And it's Dio Adangbo gobbles up Ryan Tannehill. A massive loss back to around the 16-yard line.
Dio with the play right there defensively. Colts lose 24-17 yesterday. Matt Taylor with Ed Cole. Welcome back. Buffalo Wild Wings in Plainfield brings us to you today. I love it. Great food. What a great place to watch the Monday night contest. Rams and Niners, and more conversation still to come. Bob Kravitz joins us coming up at the top of the hour. Hey, a shout out to our friend Matthew, Kyle. Matthew in Maine just shipped out some lobster for me. How about that? The lobster on the way from Matthew in Maine. What do you think about that? Impressive.
I think I'm going to have to intercept that package.
Are they going to be alive?
Your desk.
Are they going to be alive?
I don't know how it works.
I don't either. I'm excited, though. I love me some lobster, man. Shout out to Matthew, who's also all the time inside the lounge via YouTube Live. Matthew, friend of the show, thank you very much. That's Matthew in Maine. I did want to mention this. So, Kyle, last week I hurt my foot again, right? I snapped it when I was running after Lainey when she was doing a little field trip downtown. Stepped in a hole on Market running over to the State House. So today I'm out there mowing, right, and I had a concrete block I was trying to move, and I lifted it up and dropped it right on my foot. My big toe, my big toe is swollen, and my foot is even worse. I can't even walk right now. I'm messed up.
So
right on my foot.
You have 2 broken bones in your foot now, big toe and then your pinky toe?
Yeah, my big toe is swollen like you would not believe. I think it did something to the nail. But it is messed up. Can you believe that? That only happens to me. Only. So, and I'm going to shoot free throws tomorrow for Teacher's Treasures with Bruce Kidd over at Hinkle. And my foot is all messed up. I mean, messed up. So, yes, shout out to Kevin Julian of Greenwood Orthopedics, because here I come. It is going to be my necessity now because not only is the foot screwed up, but now the big toe is majorly screwed up. We've got some major foobar going on in the left foot situation right now. Got to get that fixed. So, Kevin Julian, we're coming at you. Hey, we're coming at you live from Plainfield today at Buffalo Wild Wings. If you're on hold, I'll get to you. Bob Kravitz coming up at the top of the hour. And if you missed any of what we've talked about, there's a chance to go back, obviously, with our replay Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live. Not just the moment, not just this Monday of another Colts loss, another disappointing game, but where we stand right now moving forward with the foundational blocks of this team and how, simply put, they failed so far. Back to that coming up. Your calls, Bob Kravitz, top of the hour. This is 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, sports fans, this is Ultimate Vegas Insider John Anthony, and I'm on fire. To prove it, I'm releasing my Monday Night Report exclusively on a recorded message line. Monday nights, 25 and 9, last 2 years. That's 74% winners. I'm red hot. Call 1-800-808-3481. LA, San Francisco's a lock. And the total to parlay, plus Thursday and Saturday's early release, John Anthony has you covered. We go 5-0 the season free. 1-800-808-3481. Information wins. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. I'll prove it. LA, San Francisco's a lock. Win the side, win the total. Parlay and teasers cash in. A $200 player wins $3,000 this week. Recorded message 1-800-808-3481. LA, San Francisco. We go 5-0 the season free. 1-800-808-3481. That's 1-800-808-3481. Or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Hey, Real Growing Hair again with PAI. WeGrowHairIndy.com and Darren Andrews. Make sure you give him a call. Tell him I sent you if you want that Real Growing Hair again. 888-724-5129 or WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
Why do I like being a jewelry consultant at Shane Company? It's fun. I get to talk with everyone, people from all walks of life. Whatever you've got going on, a birthday, anniversary, new baby, or just because, fine jewelry is an awesome gift to give. And we have something unique in every price range, backed up with a free lifetime warranty. At Shane Company, we take every step to ensure that our jewelry is the highest quality. And we continually improve our styles, even the classics, like our diamond stud earrings. Ours are simply the best pair of studs in town. The diamonds are stunning, hand-selected for their beauty and hand-matched for consistency. We have studs in every price range, different metals, and 4 diamond shapes to choose from. The classic round shape, an oval shape, princess cut, and cushion cut. We even pay attention to the earring backs to make sure they're extra secure. Visit us for a lasting, memorable gift.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
It's the BullseyeEventGroup.com Colts VIP Tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. All you can eat, all you can drink, 3 hours before kickoff inside the Bullseye Event Center right across the street from Lucas Oil Stadium. Get your passes today. BullseyeEventGroup.com for the Colts VIP Tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. All you can eat and the food presented by Food Network Chef Aaron May. Bullseye Event Group offers indoor and outdoor climate control lounge seating for a VIP tailgate experience. All ages welcome. Go to BullseyeEventGroup.com and get your tickets now.
You've undoubtedly heard of the calm before the storm. Well, Michaelis is the calm after the storm. More than 3 decades of restoring damage from wind, rain, and hail. They've got your back, not to mention your front, side, and roof. It's why home and business owners beat a path to Michaelis' door, because it's always answered around the clock with welcome arms. Your port in the storm. From site security and tarping services to complete restoration work, they can handle anything Mother Nature throws your way. Seasoned and trustworthy pros who are never deterred by a little wind and rain, or a mother load of it for that matter. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
JMV here and ready to simplify your purchases while earning unlimited cash back. Well, Forum Credit Union's unlimited cash back credit card is for you. No more redeeming points or capped rewards. Forum's card pays you unlimited cash for every purchase, every month, automatically. Plus, make secure mobile payments, contactless purchases, and real-time spending stats and alerts just so you can see and stay on top of all of those expenses. It's the perfect card for everyday items, monthly subscriptions, and more. Visit forumcu.com or slide by a branch location today.
Hubler has it. Savings. Hubler has it. Choices.
Hubler really does have it all. All of our pre-owned vehicles are Hubler Q certified, which include a 128-point vehicle inspection, a free Carfax vehicle history report, and 2 warranties. A 2-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and a 30-day, 1,000-mile comprehensive warranty. Visit any of our 13 locations today, or click drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it all.
At Eskenazi Health, our patients are treated with compassion and skill. That's why Eskenazi Health is looking for professionals who share our mission and are dedicated to serving the community. As an employee of Indiana's top hospital for social responsibility and community health investment, you'll enjoy excellent benefits, competitive pay, and unwavering leadership support. Learn more about Eskenazi Health Careers online at eskenazihealth.edu/careers.
Hey, join me tomorrow. We're going to talk to Mike Chappell as we get ready for a short week, Thursday night football, but we're still talking Colts and the Titans. Join me tomorrow.
The Ride with JMV.
If peeing your pants is cool, consider me Miles Davis.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
McLaughlin is downstairs getting ready for a field goal here. This is a 51-yard field goal he made from 51 last week against Kansas City. Matt Hawk is the holder. And they're going to spot it at the far hash. There's a snap. Kick is on its way. It's got the distance, and it is no good.
Matt Taylor, the call right there. This is what you get right here, and this is like a completely nonsensical argument. All right, at least I'm presenting a well-thought-out argument as to what this team is doing, where this team is going, the shortcomings, the expectations, the lack thereof. This is what I get. I blank you not, this is real. Back at Buffalo Wild Wings in Plainfield, Bud Light, this is a Blue Monday. But I get this from Davis. JMV, maybe you'll be happy when the Colts are playing in another city and Indy doesn't have an NFL team. Be a fan or not a fan. Yes, losing sucks, but get over it. See, that's a nonsensical argument. At least you get from me arguments that make sense. I'm not giving you that stupid crap right there. I'm not giving you something to stir it up. I'm not being mad to be mad. I'm not being mad to press your buttons. I'm giving you what's going on. And I'm giving you insight, educated insight as to what's going on. See, that's good to see you. Well, I like your album cover, Women and Children First, right there.
I'm Airport Jimmy.
You're Airport Jimmy? Well, get over here and show everybody you're on YouTube Live right here, Airport Jimmy. He's got Women and Children First here, the album, the Van Haven. There's Airport Jimmy is in the house right there, everybody. All right, I'll sit tight right there. I'm going to finish my thought in just a moment. I do need to hit a break. But you're not going to get any nonsensical arguments from me. You're only going to get the truth and what's going on. And there's no inspiration behind making anybody mad or wanting teams to leave. I mean, obviously, Davis, I don't want the team to leave. I like talking about the team. But I have to be honest with you. That's what you guys expect 3 until 6. You know, not any instigation, not an axe to grind, not BS, not uneducated takes, but something is what you have expected for years. 17, in fact, that I'm going to continue to do that. That is ridiculous. Sure, I mean, come on. We're talking about how this team has played, what they have done compared to the expectations, which have not been met. We'll get back to that in a second. Bob Kravitz of The Athletic joins us next. Hey, JMV for CarX Tire and Auto, serving the Indianapolis market for over 40 years. 14 Central Indiana, Joe Childers run locations of CarX. I'm talking absolutely everything for your car, truck, or van. Full service auto repair specialists. We're talking brakes, tires, engine alignments, exhaust, oil changes, all that and more. And how about this for a JMV special? $109.99 lifetime brake pads per axle and save $200 on a set of 4 select Continental tires. Those are the JMV specials. 14 Central Indiana CarX locations to serve you. Car, truck, or van, they have exactly what you're looking for. Full service auto repair all in one place. Tell Joe Childers I sent you. 14 Central Indiana CarX locations. There is one near you. Find out where it is online today. It's CarX.com.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
Hey, the best in realty. That's Mark Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232. That's markdietel.com, markdietel.com. Today, I'm telling you, the best in making sure you're 100% satisfied on whatever you're thinking about doing as far as your home is concerned, right? So if you're downsizing, maybe the kids are off to college, you don't need all that space. Or if you're upgrading, you want a little bit more space for a growing family, Mark Dietel is who you need to call. He's going to guarantee multiple offers in 3 days for full market value, or he's going to list it for free. Mark Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232. MarkDietel.com. That's MarkDietel.com today.
America's leading internet provider just got even faster. Switch to Spectrum Internet, and you now get starting speeds of up to 300 megabits per second. Faster speeds for streaming, faster speeds for gaming, faster speeds for working or learning, all with 99.9% network reliability. So no matter what you do online, you can do it better, safer, and now even faster with Spectrum Internet. Visit Spectrum.com for details. Based on internet subscribers among top ISPs, speeds may vary. Restrictions apply.
Tim Tebow is the keynote speaker for Life Center's Celebration of Life Banquet, right here in Indy. Register at lifecenters.com for the banquet on Wednesday, October 26th at the JW Marriott downtown. This event is the largest fundraiser for Life Centers, a ministry that helps women making pregnancy-related decisions and provides baby and maternity items to local families. Don't miss Tim Tebow at the JW Marriott downtown on October 26th. Register at lifecenters.com. lifecenters.com.
The NFL action is in full swing at DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. We're talking touchdowns, big plays, and even bigger wins. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. And if that's not enough, everyone can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Right now, for every leg you add, you can boost your winnings up to 100%. With payouts bigger than ever, why bet on football anywhere else? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code 1075FAN to get $200 in free bets if your team wins and when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's code 1075FAN, only at DraftKings Sportsbook app. Must be 21 or older, Indiana only. Bonus issued as free bets, 1 boost per eligible game. Opt-in required. Parlay and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football terms. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
If you have questions about buying a home or if you're ready to get pre-approved, everything starts today at thehomeloanexpert.com.
NMLS number 1326-241.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WIBC HD2 W298BB. WIBC HD3 W228CX. Indianapolis.
Alabama hosts Texas A&M on American Standards College Football Saturday. The coverage begins at 7:30 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
It takes him a second to get on the stool because he's under 5 feet tall.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Plus territory. Ryan out of the gun. Naeem Hines in motion to the right side. Play action. Ryan fires upfield. Wide open to the 20 at the 15. It's Jelani Woods bouncing off tacklers. And he's finally wrestled down around the 5-yard line for a gain of 33 for Jelani Woods.
Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts right there. We got Colts Roundtable Live coming up at the top of the hour. Do you know, Kyle, who's on Roundtable Live tonight? Is it going to be still Frank Reich? I think normally in a short week, I don't think Frank is on, but maybe Ballard steps in.
I have not
Anything?
seen. No,
I haven't
we'll have
either.
to wait and see.
Hey, Matt Taylor, if you're listening right now, send me a text and let me know. I'm just kind of curious. I want to get Airport Jimmy on YouTube Live, but we are rebooting right now. But Airport Jimmy is here. He is a big-time fan of the show. He is a big-time participant inside the lounge via YouTube Live. But Airport Jimmy is here, and I'm rocking J Stone Company, which is fishing apparel in honor. JStoneCO.com. JStoneCO.com. It is fishing apparel, and I'm rocking the activewear courtesy of Airport Jimmy. We'll get you on in just a second. Let me go ahead. Again, Buffalo Wild Wings in Plainfield, our location. It is a Blue Monday. We got your opportunity to win tickets to the Jacksonville game. Got your chance to win an autographed helmet coming up too. Got a Monday nighter. Great food, a great place. Buffalo Wild Wings, Plainfield, with Bud Light. Our friends from Zinc are all here, which is always awesome to see everybody. Again, Buffalo Wild Wings. We are in Plainfield today. So join us here. Monday Night Football is welcoming up. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he is a friend of the show. He's from The Athletic. Bob Kravitz is with us right now. Bob, I saw your column that you had in The Athletic. As sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives and the clock ticking on some coaches. If this were, you think, a regular week, or if this team, offensive line-wise, plays to what we have seen so far consistently this week on Thursday night, what do you think that might mean for the O-line coach, Chris Strasser?
Yeah, I think he's kind of living on borrowed time at this point. Look, since 2019, they've declined, at least in my view. Even though Jonathan Taylor ran, for a franchise high record last year, they weren't that great in pass protection. Part of that was Wentz, but part of that was them. And right now, there's a disconnect somewhere. And look, is it all his fault? No. I mean, guys are not playing. Braden Smith is not having the type of season that you would expect. Ryan Kelly, Quentin Nelson got run over yesterday and gave up one of the few sacks of his career. So nobody is covering themselves in glory at this point, but you can't fire them. They've got contracts, and you can move off of an offensive line coach. So I think that he needs a big effort on Thursday night if he hopes to, keep his job.
So Bob Kravitz joins us. You get back to last year, and you're right. They weren't very good last year at all. You even go back to that year with Rivers. It was a struggle keeping him upright early, and then once they got used to the quick rhythm thing, I always thought that maybe their improvement 2 years ago, maybe this is a backhanded compliment, but I always thought that it was more because of his quick release, his snap, and the ball was out, than it was them being incredible at protecting him.
Right. No, I mean Rivers, he always got rid of the ball in 3 seconds. Right now, Ryan's around 2.6 something. My editor, Jim Aiello, just tweeted that out a short time ago. The problem is he's getting hit constantly. And, we knew that there would be a decline in the quality of play, but it's not like Eric Fisher or Mark Lewinsky were Pro Bowl players. I mean, they were average at best. Fisher was playing 1 year after an Achilles tear, so it's not like you're going from Quentin Nelson to a UDFA. You were going, from Mark Lewinsky to Danny Pinter, who I think is better suited to center than he is right guard. But it's not a good sign when you've already had to bench your right guard and your left tackle was sharing snaps with a rookie who's really a project in Ryman. So, you can't. It's got to be on the coach. I mean, it's somebody's going to have to be, taken to task for this, and it's not going to be Frank Reich, and not at this point. Certainly not Ballard. It's not anybody else. I think Chris Strasser is really on the hot seat.
So Bob Kravitz of The Athletic on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I mentioned this, and this is well beyond just the level of play yesterday, the disappointment, the way that they came out emotionless, listless, and got worked and, fell so far behind you ultimately lose and you couldn't get back. It is what we're talking about here. The offensive line, and certainly to a degree as well, the defensive line, both foundational building blocks of the blueprint of Chris Ballard. And, Bob, you look at it, especially the offensive line, this is failing. And this is not only failing in the now, Bob, but it's failing. This will have a profound effect for the foreseeable future with this failure.
It's gonna. This is going to be the gift that keeps on giving. I don't know how you fix this, certainly in short order, much less down the road. What scares me the most, John, is that I wonder, and I'm not making any loud pronouncement here, but that we're going back 6 games now, 4 games this year and 2 games last year, when they have consistently not been ready to go. And while I hold the players largely responsible for that, you have to wonder if they haven't heard this voice for too long. And I never agreed with Larry Bird on this whole idea that, that a coach's voice no longer is heard after a couple of years. Of course, the difference is they play 82 games in the NBA in a season, and there's only 17 in the NFL. But whatever you think is wrong here, they are not responding to Frank Reich and this coaching staff right now.
Listen, we're not in the locker room with the players and the staff, but after you heard an offseason, and if he wasn't talking about Carson Wentz leaving, he was talking about the importance of beating this Tennessee team. And I thought, Bob, to the point where Jim Irsay was kind of smitten with Vrabel and that entire operation of the Titans because of their past 2 years of success at a level and a vision in which I think he viewed or was sold how this Colts team was going to look with Ballard and Reich. And then you have last week, and that plea again via social media of come out, be primal. And you know how important it is to the owner. And then, Bob, they come out completely flat, emotionless, and listless in that first half. Even though we're not in the locker room, to me, you could eyeball that and immediately draw the conclusion that that's on the coach and he no longer has a voice that is going to inspire anybody in that locker room.
Yeah, I don't hear it resonating with these players. I mean, look, there is, whatever you think, there is a ton of talent here. I mean, they didn't have 7 Pro Bowl players last year by accident. And those guys are back. So it's just hard for me to understand. It's hard for me to understand how an offensive line, and this is a team that devotes a higher percentage of its cap to the offensive line than any other team. That's the area that you're most concerned about. I could see short-term issues here and there with the new guys, with Pryor, with Pinter, whoever the hell is playing right guard on a given day. But for them, top to bottom, to be so underachieving is mind-boggling to me. I mean, it's not Jonathan Taylor. I can promise you that. You watch these games. We all watch these games. Is there any place to run? The other issue that I have, and somebody brought this up on Twitter last night, and it got me to thinking because I had considered this earlier. They don't do a lot with misdirection. They're not going outside. Not a lot of quick pitch outs. I'm not a run game expert, or a run game coach, but it just seems like they're playing in a phone booth. It feels like they're not creating issues for the defense in the run game, and they say they're doing the same things they've always done, but whatever it is, it ain't working.
No, it's not, and this is what we gather from this team. At that offensive line, and they're not even close right now to playing decently. But if this offensive line plays below what the expectation should be, and that's accurate, being the highest paid offensive line in the NFL, Bob, this team has no chance. Your 37-year-old quarterback has no chance. Your pass catchers have no chance, even with the inspiration of the tight end play from Granson to Mo Alley, and to a degree, what you got from Jelani Woods yesterday. Even to the degree of that, it doesn't matter, because if this offensive line doesn't work, this team is not going to win.
Right. No, I mean, and again, this is the foundation of this team. And the crazy thing is, the thing that we worried about the most were the wide receivers, who have been okay, and the tight ends. Tight ends combined for 180 yards yesterday. They were spectacular, and they deserve all the praise that they get. But, there's just nothing happening. I mean, and look, we got to talk about Matt Ryan. He put up, 360-something yards yesterday, something like that. But he's not protecting the football. 9 fumbles is unbelievable. I mean, this is Carson Wentz stuff in terms of, it's worse than Carson Wentz in terms of holding on to the football. So, the one thing that I've been talking about is I hope this is a one and done with Matt Ryan. They've got to get off the treadmill. They have got to get off the treadmill. I understand that they haven't had a lot of choices, a lot of options in the last couple of years, but they have got to go out and do whatever it takes to get that first-round pick and get themselves a quarterback for the future. Because, whether the draftee plays next year or not, whether he's a backup to Matt Ryan for that 1 year, this team is just not going to go anywhere with Matt Ryan. He's a solid pro, but there are just things that he can't do any longer, and it's becoming abundantly obvious.
Well, I mean, and you look at in his numbers, you look at and you go, hey, you'll take those numbers, but you're right, Bob. I mentioned this. Those receivers had to work really hard for those catches yesterday. The tight ends, where you're talking about, Alec Pierce stretching out a couple of different times, and you're right. I mean, you're absolutely right. The thing that you notice in the press box, and both you and I are up there for those games, is what he does miss. And not just necessarily missing receivers, but guys are open. He doesn't throw it. Clearly, he's discombobulated because most of the time he's running for his life, but it's not working. It's just not.
His pocket presence, which used to be something that I thought he was great at, just isn't there. I mean, there was a play, I guess it was last week, where he was being tracked down by a defensive end, and it seemed like he had absolutely no clue that the guy was coming. He took his time, got strip sacked, and it was their ball. And I'm maybe the Colts are breaking him the way they've broken Andrew Luck. I don't know, but it's just amazing to me that, they sold him on the idea that he would have a running game and an offensive line, and they have not delivered on that at all.
Bob Kravitz of The Athletic. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. He's got his latest column out. Now, Jim Irsay has never done it. I know both of us are expecting him not to do it this year regarding a decision on Frank Reich. Is there a breaking point to that? Is there new ground that you could see covered any way, shape, or form? Because I don't, but do you?
I don't either. I think Jim has studiously avoided being his father. And his father routinely blew out coaches in the middle of seasons. Jim has seen that interim coaches do not work in football. If you're bad, you're bad. It doesn't matter if you got Vince Lombardi. If you're bad, you're bad. And I do not see him making a change. I think Chris Strasser would be the most likely candidate to be held responsible for what's going on. But, and honestly, unless this thing really falls off a cliff, I think he's back next year. I still think somehow, some way, because the AFC South is so lousy, they're going to be in it till the end, whether they like it or not. But, unless this thing falls off a cliff, I have a hard time seeing them making a change at the end of the season, much less doing it in season.
It was, and I know people are going to go, aren't you used to it by now? But yesterday's first half, Bob, was probably the most ridiculous half of football, I should say, that I've seen. And people were saying, well, you're irate about this. Why weren't you as equally irate about the Jacksonville game? Well, I was. But again, going into this game and knowing what was on the line and then getting that level of play or lack thereof in that first half, to me, there's no excuse. There's just zero excuse for the way that they came out. And, at some point, I talk about the AFC South, being that gift that keeps on giving. But I don't even know if the Colts are at a level right now where they could ever take advantage of it. It's all kind of fool's gold whenever anything positively happens, seemingly, with this team.
And the shame of it is, does anybody really think Jacksonville's the real deal? Unless they're like the 1999 Indianapolis Colts, who went from 3-13 to 13-3 in Peyton's second year. Maybe that's what's happening there, but I kind of doubt it. But look at Tennessee. Do they strike you as a great team? I know they were the number one seed last year, but losing A.J. Brown, losing Landry. This is not the same team, and they're terrible in the second half. They're as bad in the second half as the Colts are in the first half. We saw that play out yesterday. But this division is there for the taking, and I don't know that the Colts have it in them to seize the opportunity.
We talk about a breaking point, or maybe lack thereof, and I think we both agree that it would take a lot for Jim to make a move that he's never done before on a head coach during the season. What about that matchup with Carson Wentz here? Would that be a breaking point, though? Honestly, would that be a breaking point for the owner?
That would be awfully, awfully close to being a breaking point. And it might be the breaking point. If you lose to Carson Wentz after all that happened, after all you said in the offseason, after, making it abundantly clear that he was responsible for the team failing to make the playoffs, yeah, I could see that. I think that's certainly a possibility, but God, that's not going to happen, is it?
Famous last words, Bob.
Lose to the Commandos.
famous last words. I
said they couldn't lose to Jacksonville again. They got run 24-zip. So what the hell do I know?
Yeah, and it just seems like those moments, even last week. You could tear that apart and even make that Kansas City win look bad with the way that went down. When you think of the quarters of football they played and the positive quarters that they have had in those quarters through 4 weeks of the season, it's mind-blowing the level, or I should say in this case, the depth of football that we have seen. It is.
Oh, it's as bad as anything I've seen around here, and I think any of us have seen for many years. We've been very, very fortunate. I understand that, they haven't won a division since 14, but, we've seen competitive football, and this has not been competitive. yesterday it got interesting late, and if Jonathan Taylor doesn't fumble the ball, and if that was a competitive game, but they have consistently put themselves in hole. I was mentioning to Nyheim Hines yesterday, I said, you realize you guys have been down 17 points in every game against the AFC South this year? He's like, that is so ridiculous. And it is. For a team that's built, you would think, the right way, or at least what they think is the right way. And it's just not happening for them. And, I thought there was hope, but I'm starting to lose it. I'm starting to lose hope that this team can get itself together. And this game Thursday is going to be monster because you got two teams really in the same situation with new quarterbacks who haven't figured it out. We don't know what's going on with Jonathan Taylor. We know the Broncos are going to lose their top running back to injury. So this is, again, a monumentally important game. It's not AFC South, but it's AFC, and that means something.
Yeah, Bob Kravitz joins us from The Athletic. Your colleague at The Athletic, Zach Kiefer, had tweeted about this a little bit earlier today from Nyheim Hines. Quote, not an excuse, but every year we have a new quarterback. Yeah. So each year we have growing pains while we sit here. You know the quote, and I'm sure you've read the quote. You probably even heard the quote from yesterday. It reads as a shot at Chris Ballard. And knowing Nyheim Hines, I'm sure he didn't mean it that way. But that's the way that it reads to me. Does it you?
No, not really, because I was there. And I was talking to him, and he brought that up, I think, in response to a question of mine. Maybe it was somebody else's, who remembers. But, I don't think it was a shot, but it was, and the thing I like about Nyheim is he's honest. And let's be honest, having a new quarterback every year for the last however many years it's been, it's tough. It's tough. And you look at the issues that they're having in Denver with Russell Wilson. He doesn't look like Russell Wilson. So, I mean, if you want to be a positive guy about it, Wilson and Ryan will get their legs under them and start playing better. But, it's I did not take it as a shot. I just thought it was a very, very clear, cogent observation.
To Bob Kravitz, he's with us. So, Jonathan Taylor, think he plays in this short week? Coming off that injury situation?
I saw Adam Schefter had a tweet that there's a chance he could play, but I have a hard time believing that on a short week he's going to go. And can we mention, by the way, as we do every year, that Thursday night football is an abomination?
Yeah.
I mean,
it keeps getting bad pub. Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. It keeps getting bad pub. There's no doubt about that. Now that Amazon's involved, though, they're going to get, as we've seen, much better games, and they've staked their claim that it's going to be money over exactly what you're alluding to right here.
Yeah, well, and we'll end up with situations like Tua Tagovailoa, and, well, what I find interesting is that, if I'm not mistaken, Sherman has always been anti-Thursday night football. So where is he working? Thursday night football.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's and that's not going to stop. That's not going to stop whatsoever. Shaquille Leonard got the friendly fire hit yesterday. That looked pretty major, especially coming off the 2 a week on Thursday night, where you would think everything would be more hypersensitive. What do you think about his? Obviously, he's not going to play. He's ruled out.
Yeah,
What's your thoughts even longer term for him?
I don't think, look, everybody is being hyper vigilant now, which is what they should have been a long time ago. But we know how the NFL works. I think even if he was cleared, because understand, we talked to Reich today, and he said that they made this decision independent of the protocol. So, in theory, he could have been cleared in the protocol, and he would have been cleared to play. But the Colts decided, maybe because of the atmosphere now in the league, that he was not going to play, and I think that's the smart thing.
Yeah, I don't know about it anymore. Jim Irsay firing up the team. Video tweets.
Yeah, he was all he fired him up before that Jacksonville game. That didn't work. Before the home opener, before the Houston game. None of that stuff seems to be working. Nobody's listening to poor Jim anymore, and I don't think he likes that. And I think people are going to pay. There's going to be issues down the road for a lot of people, and I think, as we mentioned earlier, if things don't turn around, I think Chris Strasser may very well be out of here after the Denver game.
The thing you got to guard against more so than anything else, even among all this disappointment that we've been talking about, is a level of apathy. And you've known him for a long time too. The guard is up when it comes to Colts fans and being apathetic toward this team, and that's also a part of this path we're talking about here, Bob.
Yeah, no, I really do think that we're at a point in the development of this franchise that I think they've got to be bad for a really long period of time for apathy to set in. I think right now we're still in the pissed off mode, and I think we're going to be that way for quite some time. But, if it's a long-term situation, I can see apathy creeping in, but not just yet.
Yeah, I kind of think about it from these terms, I guess, too, is that it seems like, anytime you talk about this team and their shortcomings so far, if you get the Uber fan back at me, they say, hey, there's still a lot of season, or hey, this is the AFC South. And while all that is true, I think all this does is muddy up the water and lower the expectations to a point where it's tough, certainly, to dig out of such a hole. That's kind of what I get each and every week. It seems like we're talking about the same stuff, but it looks like to me the product is getting progressively worse.
It is.
So,
and the margin of error is zero. They can't lose another AFC South game, and and I'm not sure they can lose. They can't lose a hell of a lot more. And
no,
it's they put themselves in a hole again. And they could start training camp practice at 1:00. They can start it at 6:30 in the morning. I don't care. They're going to get off to a slow start under this administration. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, and that's why you kind of look at the coach and you go, all right, one thing that hasn't been addressed that's certainly a common theme here, and that's where everybody's attention goes. Hey, Bob, great column today. I appreciate that. Thanks for hopping on. And short week with the Broncos on Thursday. We'll see what happens. Appreciate you.
All right. Sounds good, buddy. Take care.
Bob Kravitz of The Athletic on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Buffalo Wild Wings in Plainfield. A nice group going on here. You got Bud Light, great prices and great food from Buffalo Wild Wings. That's your chance at Jacksonville. Colts tickets to give away. We got an autographed helmet to give away as well. Buffalo Wild Wings on a blue Monday. There's Mac here too. On a blue Monday in Plainfield. And we'll look for you just off of Main Street. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Indiana Physical Therapy is your trusted choice in Central Indiana. For over 30 years, we've treated all walks of life, from peewees to professionals and Olympians, and everyone in between. Schedule at any of our 21 convenient locations, even without a doctor's order. Indiana Physical Therapy is cost-effective, accepting all insurance plans and networks. We're open from 7 to 7 and can get you in the same day you call. Go to indianapt.com.
Indiana Physical Therapy, where people go to get better.
Hey, John, for BullseyeEventGroup.com, the Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. I'll tell you this, it's about the game day experience. No matter what happens inside the building, your game day has been made just by attending the Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. It's all you can eat, all you can drink. You get DJ Skids, you get DJ Helicon. I saw Skids over there, too. Again, Skids is the guy that puts together the many mixes for the JMV takeover. This is a fantastic time and the best way to make the game day experience spectacular and unforgettable for you. Even if things don't go right inside the building, you've got the Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. Also, keep in mind, in November, we're going to Vegas. Going to Vegas with BullseyeEventGroup.com. Tickets and Caesars Palace Day. You've got a Vegas-style Colts VIP tailgate and more. Log on. Make sure you're part of the next home game with the Colts inside the Bullseye Event Center. And make sure you're going with us to Vegas in November with BullseyeEventGroup.com.
Hubler really does have it all. All of our pre-owned vehicles are Hubler Q certified, which include a 128-point vehicle inspection, a free Carfax vehicle history report, and 2 warranties. A 2-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and a 30-day, 1,000-mile comprehensive warranty. Visit any of our 13 locations today, or click drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it all. No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks, whatever your preference. They have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out an adventurous drink menu second to none. And don't forget about our 29-degree man-sized drafts. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
As a Shane Company jewelry consultant, I always enjoy telling our customers about our jewelry and how special it is. Like our cultured pearls. And right now, pearls are more popular than ever. Pearl strands, drop earrings, pearl rings, worn stacked and layered, everyone's wearing them. Did you know that a pearl takes 2 to 3 years to form inside a mollusk? It takes on the color of the nacre, the interior of the shell. So a lavender nacre will produce a lavender pearl. At Shane Company, our pearls are known for their beautiful luster. They're in their natural colors and never dyed. We source them directly from pearl farmers around the world. And we string our pearl strands with an individual knot between each pearl for extra security. Visit us today or chat with us online. We don't work on commission, so you'll never feel rushed or pressured. Whether you come in for a new on-trend pearl necklace or a diamond engagement ring, we'll educate you about our jewelry, so you'll leave feeling like an expert.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Hey, sports fans, this is Ultimate Vegas Insider John Anthony, and I'm on fire. To prove it, I'm releasing my Monday Night Report exclusively on a recorded message line. Monday nights, 25-9, last 2 years. That's 74% winners. I'm red hot. Call 1-800-808-3481. LA, San Francisco's a lock. And the total to parlay, plus Thursday and Saturday's early release, John Anthony has you covered. We go 5-0 the season free. 1-800-808-3481. Information wins. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. I'll prove it. LA, San Francisco's a lock. Win the side, win the total. Parlay and teasers cash in. A $200 player wins $3,000 this week. Recorded message 1-800-808-3481. LA, San Francisco. We go 5-0 the season free. 1-800-808-3481. That's 1-800-808-3481. Or go to JohnAnthonySports.com.
Hey, it's John here for YouTube Live. John here on YouTube Live. Sorry. John here for PAI. WeGrowHairIndy.com. Thanks, Jimmy. WeGrowHairIndy.com at 888-724-5129. I was going to mention, if you're watching on YouTube Live, I have Airport Jimmy's hat on right now, but I don't need it because my head of hair is fantastic. Thanks to Darren Andrews and PAI. That's 888-724-5129 if you want your real growing hair again now. WeGrowHairIndy.com.
Long weekends are all about getting a little you time. And at the Home Depot, you time means you building, you drilling, you doing, you recharging, you saving, and you going back for more. Do Labor Day your way and get a free 18-volt battery with select Milwaukee Power Toolkit purchases at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
A new season, a new QB, a new look. Football is back. And so are Bud Light Blue Mondays. Join JMV Mondays at Buffalo Wild Wings for ice-cold Bud Lights, Colts football talk, and your chance to win tickets to Colts games. Today, stop by and see JMV at the Buffalo Wild Wings at 2683 East Main Street in Plainfield. JMV, Bud Light, and you. Doing it for the shoe. Bud Light Blue Mondays.
Do you need furnace or heat pump service? Do you need to find a well-trained dealer like Marshall Mechanical in Franklin? We'll find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
The Ride with JMV.
My vision is to take this team as the first franchise to the Saturn Football League and play against 8-foot gargoyles that run 3.8 speed.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Welcome back, Buffalo Wild Wings in Plainfield. Thank you so much. These guys are great here. Thank you, Buffalo Wild Wings, and our friends from Zinc. Bud Light is here. Ice cold Bud Light, great food. Monday Night Football with the Rams and the Niners. Your chance at Jaguars, Colts tickets, and an autographed helmet coming up right here. If you're watching on YouTube Live inside the lounge right now, Airport Jimmy's in the house.
What's going on, JMV? I've been looking forward to this, man. I'm so glad you came here to Plainfield, man. I've been looking forward to it.
Airport Jimmy's in the house.
Airport Jimmy in the house, pushing some of my stuff right now.
That's
but everything's good, man. It's better to talk about the Colts, right?
It is. Now Sweet Angie.
Yep, she's going to be on. She's actually on the YouTube chat, I'm sure, thinking I'm running up your tab, which I did have to bum a beer from you because I forgot my wallet.
That's all right, bro. That's no problem, man.
It's all good.
There's more where that came from.
I got a friend like that always forgets his wallet whenever we go out. So, yeah, you know how that goes.
All right, YouTube live chat inside the lounge.
The
Airport
YouTube chat
Jimmy,
rocks.
everybody.
The people rock in there.
What happened to the wrist situation? What happened?
I had arthritis on my thumb. I'm
you?
old, JMV. I'm old, brother.
I've kind of got that, but it's in the right
I'm
hand.
a righty, though, so don't think what you're thinking.
Well, see, I know that's exactly what I was thinking.
I know you were thinking that.
Airport Jimmy, thanks, man.
All right, man. Good seeing you.
Airport Jimmy, everybody.
Take care.
Inside the lounge via YouTube Live. That's exactly what I was thinking, brother. I know it. It was. All right, Titans, Colts, 24-17. Titans beat the Colts. And it was an embarrassing for the Colts first half. All the points scored by Tennessee in that win. You got it, man. In that first half of play. And Colts tried to come back. It wasn't enough. 1-2-1 on the season, a short week. Now, if you're looking for some things coming up on Thursday night, Randy Gregory has been ruled out with an injury. I think it's Devontae Williams, right, too, Kyle? He's
out for the year.
Listed as out
tore his
for the
ACL.
year. Yeah, Gregory's going to miss some time and obviously miss on Thursday. And then you just heard that Russell Wilson was dinged up with his shoulder in that game yesterday against the Raiders, and he is listed as questionable in a short week. Not probably going to help out a great deal either. So just some things going in to the Broncos-Colts matchup in a short week coming up on Thursday night. I did want to mention this, too, because we've got to combine a lot of things on Thursday. Well, first things first. Coming up on Wednesday, we're going to be at Twin Peaks on Wednesday. That's up on the northeast side. And by the way, I don't know if you've seen that, but Twin Peaks, they're going to add a second location down in Greenwood off of County Line Road right there next to Madison, I think where the old Logan's Roadhouse used to be. But anyway, that's Wednesday. And then on Thursday, our Larceny Bourbon Locks and Luna Azul Tequila shots for Week 5 of the NFL. Me and Brent Holverson will do our normal thing in our picks up until 5:30. And then Bill Brooks will join me, and we'll do the Colts pregame huddle from Joe's Grill in Westfield. So if you're up in and around Westfield coming up on Thursday, and clearly it's going to take me a little bit to get back home, so I'll probably have to watch a lot of that Thursday night game from Joe's in Westfield. That's coming up on Thursday. So you got a lot going on. But the start of the Colts pregame huddle is at 5:30 coming up on Thursday. We'll get you the countdown to kickoff with Matt, with Rick, and Lara for that. All right, quick break, and we'll come back. We'll close it out with some phone calls. A little bit earlier today, Jake Query on the show. Also, Bob Kravitz of The Athletic. The podcast, 1075thefan.com. If you want to double back, too, you can check out YouTube Live. Just go back and watch it again because you can scroll through and easily get to everything. Conversations, follow along with what people are talking about as well. That's the lounge via YouTube Live. Also, had a lot of people complaining about the app. I don't know what the app situation is, but if you want to get us and also be a part of a great group like Airport Jimmy, great conversations, and hear the show, watch the show, That's the lounge via YouTube Live is always open right there. All right, quick break and we'll come back. I got to thank our great folks at Buffalo Wild Wings for having us each and every Monday. This one in Plainfield. I believe we're going to be back at some point before the end of the season as well. Off of Main Street in Plainfield with Buffalo Wild Wings. Got your chance to win Jaguars Colts tickets before we go. We've got an autographed helmet to give away before we go. All on a Blue Monday. Buffalo Wild Wings and Bud Light with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Take the next step in your construction career by becoming a union carpenter.
Some of the best pay in the industry.
Amazing health and retirement benefits.
Ongoing cutting-edge training.
Creating my own career path so I can do what I love.
High safety standards.
Great employment opportunities. Why will you join the Carpenters Union? Join the 75,000 men and women in Indiana who build our communities. For more information, visit the Construction Industry Partnership at indianacip.com.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains. Owner Beth Rovazini has a quiz you can take to help decide whether fixing or replacing is a better option for that older system.
Joe, we've gone through and made a list and assigned points to different things to help you decide when is it time to repair and when is it time to replace. A properly installed system should last 15 to 20 years, and sometimes when you get in that 10 to 15 year, you don't know.
B+W.com for the quiz from B&W, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Basements get a bad rap. Probably because so many of them are wet, leaky, and musty. Thanks to screenwriters, crawl spaces aren't very popular either. Michaelis is putting an end to the horror show. Their time-tested waterproofing systems eliminate and prevent water issues. Damp and moldy becomes clean and healthy. And their French drains, vapor barriers, and encapsulation techniques turn crawl spaces into a Disney set. Yeah, okay, that probably went a bit far. But with over 35 years experience, they have a lot of homeowners enjoying their basements again. Think Michaelis. And think how nice it would be to get rid of foundation cracks, basement leaks, damp smells, and all the nightmares that come with them. Water, storms, fire, and foundations. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Hey, JMV here for the best Caesar Sportsbook and your first bet on Caesar Sportsbook. Of course, Caesar Sportsbook. The promo code is Radio Full, and your first bet you can get back in site credit even if you lose up to $1,250. Again, download that promo code right now for the best Caesar Sportsbook, Radio Full. That's RADIOFULL. Then place your first bet. If you win, fantastic. If not, you're going to get that back in free site credit for you. All right, Colts and Broncos coming up on Thursday. That early line, Denver 3.5-point favorites. The over-under 43.5. Eyeball that or something else this week with our friends from Caesar Sportsbook. And Caesar Sportsbook is different for this, and it's spectacular. Caesar's Rewards. We're talking tickets, free stays, experiences, and more. That is another reason why Caesar Sportsbook's the absolute best. Download that today. Get involved using the promo code RADIOFULL with Caesar's Sportsbook. Open to new users in Indiana, 21 years or older. If qualifying bet loses, bet amount returned and side credit must use within 14 days. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Tim Tebow is the keynote speaker for Life Center's Celebration of Life Banquet, right here in Indy. Register at lifecenters.com for the banquet on Wednesday, October 26th at the JW Marriott downtown. This event is the largest fundraiser for Life Centers, a ministry that helps women making pregnancy-related decisions and provides baby and maternity items to local families. Don't miss Tim Tebow at the JW Marriott downtown on October 26th. Register at lifecenters.com. lifecenters.com.
Golf Performance Academy at Golf Club of Indiana's 6,000 square foot indoor-outdoor golf facility is geared toward lessons, club fitting, practice of the full swing, and putting. Each hitting bay offers flight scope technology to track each shot and provide feedback. With 8 large-screen TVs, full beverage service, free Wi-Fi, and a conference room, they can provide opportunities for social and corporate functions. The Golf Performance Academy, the only facility of its kind in the state, even in the country. Call 769-3482 for more.
The Colts head to Denver to face the Broncos on Thursday Night Football. The coverage begins at 5:30 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
The sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, they all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. We are live from Buffalo Wild Wings today in Plainfield, which is a spectacular time. The stuff to give away. Great food. Monday Night Football is here tonight with the Rams and the Niners. You can check it out. My man Joe Childers of the 14 Central Indiana CarX locations, a sponsor of the high school football game of the week. And every single Friday, my conversation with Bob Lovell. Joe's in the house. Mark Sion on the Big Green Egg actually said he was just with Joe up at the location in Brownsburg. 14 Central Indiana CarX locations. You can check that out today. But a quick shout out to this Buffalo Wild Wings is always money. I mean, fantastic. Our thanks to our friends at Zinc with Bud Light for being a part of this as well. I love going out on Mondays. I really do. I love going out any day. And, in fact, we're going to be out like 4 of the 5 days. I think the only day I'm going to be in studio, that is coming up tomorrow with you in studio. That's the only day. Twin Peaks, Northeast Side on – where am I on Friday? Do we know yet? I can't remember where I am on Friday. I probably should have looked that up before I asked somebody else. But I know Twin Peaks Wednesday. I know Joe's Grill in Westfield on Thursday. Sienna, do you know where we are on Friday? Where? Oh, we're at Gigi's on Friday. Gotcha, Gigi's. Shout out to Gigi's, another great place. Coming up on the Northeast Side. That is on Friday, so cannot wait for that. Hey, Pacer fans, by the way, preseason underway versus Charlotte. Coming up on Wednesday. I saw Rick Carlisle say today that because it's a short preseason, a lot of the starters are going to get a lot of minutes in the preseason. We'll see. All right, 239-1070. Todd is up next today. Todd, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, good afternoon, John. I'll be quick so you can get some other callers in. Ironically, what you just mentioned about the Pacers. So, kind of bottom lining my attitude with the Colts right now. I'm looking forward to the Pacers season and watching a team that we all essentially concede is going to be somewhere in the poor to mediocre range. I think that's pretty substantial commentary on our football team, just that alone.
Well, and listen, and who's to say that by December or January, and I hope not, that you might be tired of watching that particular Pacers product. But, yeah, that expresses and magnifies even more, Todd, the disappointment that this team has been so far, because you start looking for other avenues of enjoyment, especially, in terms of sports, Todd, that you're invested in. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I agree completely. So I'll let you get some other people. I'll try to catch you out there sometime this week.
You got it, buddy. Yeah, Joe's Grill on Thursday should be a blast up in Westfield. That is always a happening place. Chris is up next at 239-1070. Hello, Chris.
Hey, John, how's it going? First off, did you ever get a chance to try the bearded swine? They went out of business, but I didn't know if you ever got any meat over there.
I did not. They went out of business?
They did, yeah. They said that they were bringing in like $150 a day and had to close down, or she was going to lose her Columbus store. So, but anyways, I wanted to talk Colts, and my thought is, how many stars do we really have on the team, and why are our expectations so high for a team that really doesn't have a whole hell of a lot?
Well, I think that you look at having 7 Pro Bowlers a year ago, which probably is not meaningless, but not as meaningful as you would give it credit for. And as far as stars are concerned, no. I mean, if you're on the level of like Mahomes, you don't have a quarterback that's a star or anything like that. Here's the thing, though. It starts with the offensive line. If you can just get a better level of play from them, things could have gone differently so far, but there's just been a lot of breakdown across the board. I may not expect them to look the way that they have looked, certainly, but the level in which they have played has been awful. Quarter after quarter. You look at the quarters they played in 4 weeks, it's tough to find, an entirety of a game, a 4-quarter game. where you feel good about
it. I think Matt Ryan would hold on the ball with two hands when he's running. I mean, he looks like John, I think you'd outrun him, first of all. But
I probably would get rid of the ball quicker. I mean, you certainly have to know what's coming. That has not worked. The offensive line hasn't worked. The defensive line, oftentimes, I mean, even with the fact that the defense didn't give up points in the second half, the defensive line has been more of a struggle than it hasn't. And that's my entire point, is not even so much what we have seen so far this year, Chris, but it's been where this thing is going. Because I call them foundational building blocks. The foundational building blocks of this Ballard blueprint to this point has failed. It absolutely has failed, considering the results we've seen.
Can they not go to Sam or Nick, or if they do that, is it basically mean Matt Ryan's done?
Well, yeah. I mean, that means he would done. I think the only way that either one of those guys would ever get any playing time is if Ryan is injured, which could ultimately happen, no doubt about that, or if Foles is injured. But, yeah, that's what it's going to take.
Their record's better with either one of those guys. Matt Ryan's just a clown, man.
Yeah, I don't, and I'm not, Matt Ryan has not been good. I don't know with the way this team has played if you could count on a better record with those other two guys either, honestly.
Love your show, buddy. Take care.
Chris, I appreciate you. Kyle, quick update, fantasy football-wise. You and I was down like 40, I think, right? Last night until Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, I think you got 50 points out of Kelsey and Mike Evans, so I'm down 11 points. I got the San Francisco defense and the kicker. I can't remember the kicker's name for the Rams.
Is it Matt Gay? Is that who that is? Matt Gay for the Rams?
Right.
Yeah. Here's the problem I'm going to have is you're probably going to win. You're going to get points regardless. So let's say, for example, Matt Gay doesn't get a lot of opportunities to score. That means that the Niners defense will be handling the Rams. There's not a really good path for me to get to win this thing. And shout out to Christian Kirk. For the first time in 2022, the Jaguars wide receiver did not show up. That was a big-time host for me right there, no doubt about that. I needed Kelsey to give me one more last night, but the dude put up 24. Mike Evans put up 31, and my running backs, as usual, Etienne and Singletary, have been non-existent. So probably Kyle is going to get that win coming up later on tonight. Thank you, Buffalo Wild Wings in Plainfield. We're going to give away tickets to the Jaguars-Colts game and an autographed helmet coming up in a minute. Thank you, Bud Light, and to my friends at Zinc. Cam, great job out of you. Sienna, fantastic per usual. It's great seeing everybody here. Kyle Udemark back at the station, exceptional. We're going to do some free throws tomorrow morning in Hinkle with Bruce Kidd for Teacher's Treasures. I'll tell you how that goes tomorrow in studio at 3. Colts Roundtable Live, that's next.
It's Kevin and Query.